Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 4 of the No Bad Days podcast. I'm one of the hosts, and here's our other guy here, man. Here's Jimmy. Welcome back, everybody. So, episode 4 today. What's up, dog?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Matt? How you doing, brother?
Good, bro. How are you?
Doing good.
Yeah,
Just
how's
finished legs.
nice. Are you doing all legs right now, or are you breaking that up?
So on what's today? Saturday. On Saturday, I do a full leg day, and then
Mhm.
I'll do hamstrings again by themselves with a little bit of calves on Tuesday.
Weren't you throwing in some back with your hamstring day, too?
Yeah, so that's predominantly my
Mhm.
back day on Tuesday, but I'll do some
Okay.
hamstrings as well.
Yeah. What will you do? Will you do deadlifts that day, or will you do just curls and stuff?
When my back was like in in good shape, I would do like some dumbbell stiff legs
Oh, yeah,
or
that's
some
right. You're
like
not doing too much, like, stiff leg stuff, right? Or
yeah, unfortunately
RDLs?
not. Just kind of leg curls. Predominantly just leg curls right now, to be honest. But
Yeah.
my my hamstrings respond well to leg curls, so thankfully that's good.
Mhm.
But I just miss the stretching movement of like a stiff leg deadlift. It's something you can't really replicate with any other exercise.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like
I mean, hyperextensions to a certain degree. Like if
yeah,
I
I would say that. That's, like, the thing I was gonna think of, but then I was thinking about your back.
yeah, hyperextensions actually don't really bother my back. As weird as that sounds.
I feel
Um,
like if you, like, extreme stretch them after, like, a set of, like, seated, ham curls, like, they're already at that end range. I mean, you're because 'cause you're getting them to that fully flexed range. And then
mhm.
I don't think you'd have to, like, load a shit ton of weight on them if you can, like, just open them up and stretch them out really hard.
Yeah, what is your hamstring like movements look like for the most part?
So, I'm doing just all legs in one day, which, dude, I'll take my time with legs. I think I was in there, like, 2 plus hours this week. But, like, I don't mind it, bro, because I like getting into the flow and just, like, going, and if I have the time to, like, do the whole entire block right then and there, it's no big deal. Like, once you get going on legs, like, you're just checking off the boxes, but I literally put, like, all my effort into, uh, n not only leg training. I don't know, maybe leg training is, like, a bit more because I like, the risk involved. It's like I'm not trying to tear, like,
Oh yeah,
a meniscus or, like, tear, like, a hamstring or, like, pull something in my back. So, like, the risk, like, it kinda dials up my focus even more to where, like, I'm just very zoned in on leg day. But, yeah, for right now, what I'm doing for legs, for that 1 day a week is, I start with hams. I'll start with lying leg curls, 2 sets of 20, um, get blood in there, get them going, and then go into, stiff leg deadlifts. I'll do a top set, and then I'll do 2 back off sets, and then from there, I'm doing seated curls heavy, for 3 sets of 10, and that's hamstrings. Then I go into quads, so I'll jump on the I'm not sure if I jump straight into, hack squats. I think I might jump straight into hack squats after that, and then I'll do a top set on hacks for, like, uh 7 to 10, and then I'll do 2 back offsets there for 10 to 12. After that, then leg extension, or no, then leg press, 2 sets of 15, which felt really good actually for my quads. I don't know if you what foot position you do for like leg press, but I put my feet pretty close together last time, and my
okay.
quads were just lighting up, dude. Like, it felt great.
I'm taking kind of a wider stance because I feel like I need
Trying to
more
build that
adductors.
adductor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but normally if I was going quads, I would go inside shoulder width.
Yeah, if you're trying to hit that, like, outer sweep or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just all quad, really. Yeah, so that felt like the first one I did was, like, a little bit wider, like, shoulder width, and then I'm like, "Let me bring these into hip width," and, like, I was getting deep, I was controlling it, I'm like, "This feels really good." So I'm gonna keep running that. So 2 sets of 15 there, then jump on the leg extension. Uh, it's like I've been throwing in these, like, rest pause sets for 30. So it's 30, like, almost like what we talked about last week, how you have the older guys do like a set of 30 or like a set of 20 on the rest
Yeah.
pause, but it's lighter weight, less risk for injury. Um, Not that I'm gonna get injured on the leg extension really, but I want to kind of pump that volume and just like get the pump blood, and because there's a lot of, I mean, I've already hit hack squats, I already hit leg press. So now
Hmm.
I just get blood in there. And like I won't like go like, all right, well, I got 25 reps, like let me hit five more. I'm using a weight where I'm gonna get like 10, 12, maybe 15 on the first one, stay
Hmm.
at the same weight, rest 20 seconds, go again. My quads felt great after that. And then I'll go into a Bulgarian split squat.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is tough. I'll either do that or I'll do a split squat. So like where like one foot's back, and then my heel and my front foot will be elevated, and I'll just try to smash on the quad that way. And then it's after that it's seated calf raise, standing calf raise for the same like rest pause set for 30, and then I'll do two sets of adductor. So that's legs.
Okay. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
lot of
mean,
volume, but
yeah,
I mean
I'm running
that's
around the entire gym.
yeah. If you think about it, though, like the legs are really like four major muscle groups. I mean,
Mhm.
almost five really. You got quads, hamstrings, glutes, calves, and I would even say adductors is kind of
Yeah,
its
that's
own
5.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I
yeah.
mean, it's unrealistic to do like one hamstring exercise, two quad exercises, one calf. Like that's just not
Mhm.
going to cut it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, so yeah, that's just that 1 day a week. I mean, so yeah, guys, I pulled back on my training a little bit. I was, like, going, like, 6 days in a week right off the gate out of prep, and, um, I mean, it was good. I love training, dude. I hate taking a rest day, like like, it was Friday yesterday. I winded up not really taking a rest day yesterday. I did, but it was, like, I did cardio and I did, um so what I've changed my training to is I was doing 6 days a week, so Monday through Saturday. Now my training is push day, so chest. We have triceps and some shoulders that day. Tuesday's a back or a pull day, which I'll hit back biceps. Um, Wednesday is, I kind of consider it a rest day, but what I had written in my program was abs and cardio. But what I'm gonna do on that day is throw in shoulders too. Throw in like at least, some lateral raises and some a little bit of pressing that day. So,
Will you do your rear delts with shoulders, or do you do those on back day?
yeah, I'll mostly do those on back day, but you know what? I feel like you can even throw them in on that day too. Well, that would be because that'd be the day before. So, yeah, I think I would hit enough unless I just don't hit rear delts. But I'm already doing like if you're doing an overhand grip, you're hitting a lot of rear delt,
Yeah,
that way anyways. Now
I
doing
always
like
do my rear delts on back day too.
just doing like direct rear delt work, like flies and stuff. Are you hitting that on your back day?
I am. Yeah, I'll shoulders. I'll just do front and side delt. I'll do everything
Hmm.
rear delt on my back day.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to cut down the volume, like on my like overhand rowing and stuff like that, I like my back day right now, though. I don't think I'm gonna bring it down at all. Like if I had to, I mean, I feel like I feel like delts are something you can hit you can hit them like 2 days in a row, like a rear delt, like
Yeah.
especially if it's like direct rear delt work, like flies. Um, so yeah, so then I'll hit like but what I had written in my plan was Wednesday was just an ab and a cardio day, and I got to the end of the workout and feel like and I was like, "I think something's missing here," and then it hit me Thursday, which is leg day. Well, no, then it finally hit me Friday, which is a rest day, so legs Thursday, all legs. Friday is a rest day, and I was like, "I feel like I'm missing something this week on Friday," and I'm like, "I need some more delts, like, you can't have enough delts." So I went and did, 6 sets heavy. Or no, the first 3 sets are heavy, and then the next 3 sets are lighter. So 3 top sets and then 3 back off sets for lateral raises with dumbbells. And then I did a, rest pause shoulder press for 30, so like a standing barbell press. Nothing crazy heavy, just to put some blood in the shoulders. But, I can even throw in some rear delts on that day too, or I can actually throw in, like, some real pressing that day because Well, I probably won't throw any like real heavy pressing because then my Saturday, which is today, is
Chest, right?
back, chest, and arms.
Yeah.
And um I mean, this kind of sets us up for the first topic, which is like an arm day. Like, you know, should you do an arm day? And like there's like push pull leg splits, which a lot of people are on right now. There's your bro split where it's more just like one muscle group. You hit everything once a week. That's usually a bro split, right? You're hitting things once a week,
Yeah. It's like chest,
typically.
biceps, shoulders, triceps, back, legs.
Yeah,
Um,
back, legs, arms, and a shoulder day or
yeah.
something. Yeah. So that would be like your typical like bro split, which I did that. I used to run a bro split. Like that was fun,
Same.
man. Like what was that, 5, 6 days a week in the gym? So you got chest, tricep, you got back, bicep, you got legs. You're probably hitting all legs. Um, then you're hitting
Shoulders and traps.
shoulders, and then yeah, shoulders, traps, and you hit arms. So it's a 5-day deal.
Yeah.
So unless you throw in another leg day, but you're generally hitting everything once a week on that. So yeah, I
From
mean that
an
was
from just an enjoyment perspective, that's my favorite way to train.
yeah, me too.
It really is.
Like, yeah, dude, I'll tell you what though, like, so the reason why like I wanted to talk about an arm day was because I mean, I wrote a pretty good amount of volume into my arm day, which it's not an actual arm day. It's first, it's back, with some good compound movements in there, like T-bar rows. I have deadlifts that day. Um, I'm doing some heavy chest stuff. I was doing like flat press machine today. Um, I could either do dips or like a neutral grip decline press, which was real, dude. That Panada equipment is fucking awesome.
It
Like,
looked amazing.
yeah, I mean, I got on the low row, it felt great. Um, and then I got on um the decline, super decline Panada chest press. Look that up, and if you ever get the chance to like get on that thing, fucking get on it. And that thing felt great. But then I jumped into arms, and then so what I did was first a heavy. My first exercise is a heavy set, so it's a rest pause preacher curl, which I don't go more than one break in between that. I'm not trying to go three. It's just too
Yeah.
heavy at that point. I'm not. Uh, I went and tried to curl the 90-pound barbell the other week, and while I could do it, like I did feel a little pop in my arm, and I was like,
Yeah. Not
like
worth it.
yeah, and like now it's like there is it's just a little bit of like you probably just beat the tendon up a little bit. I might have popped a little baby tendon or something like that, or who knows what, or but yeah, I was like going heavy on the rest pause bicep curls, but it's such a small muscle, and it's like I don't know, like you just think of people tearing their bicep, like that's so fucking worse, dude.
Yeah. And that
So,
completely, I mean, even though it's a small muscle, if you
mhm.
tear it, it completely changes the look of your physique.
Yeah, dude, I need
I
my
mean,
biceps, man. I need these to
yeah.
grow. So, like, what I would do is I'd rather so I got on the preacher, so it's like my elbows are supported, I'm locked in, um, and I got 10 and then I got 5. So what I did was like I curled, but then I like tried to curl a little bit more to like fucking really bring this
Okay.
arm up here, just really get that squeeze, hold that for a second, just make every rep look perfect. And then once it wasn't perfect, like, you know, I might try to squeeze out one more, but like that's pretty much failure at that point. Take, 15 deep breaths, hit that last 5. And then I jumped into a just like a standing dumbbell curl drop set though. So I grabbed the 20s. And like I've been watching a lot of like I like to watch Dorian Hamilton's videos because
Yeah.
he'll have like these, I watched one with like he was training with Ben Pakulski earlier, and he's got like a good library of stuff, but he's someone who like, you know, is absorbed in it, at Pure Muscle, and has guys that just I like him because like he's got the business side with his pure muscle and everything like that. He's still an amateur and he's still like trying to, chase that pro card. So it's like I relate to him in that way.
Hmm.
And he's learning training, and it's like even this guy, like, I mean, he's not a pro yet, but like I like watching like Nick Walker videos, like stuff like that, because they're learning, like they're still learning and improving their training. Like you could never get too good at training, like you'll never know enough. So I like watching that. And then no, I saw this clip where Nick was like holding the dumbbell here, curling, bring this one up, curl it, but you're
Yeah,
still holding and squeezing that one. So I started with that for the standing curls. And then, I had the 20s. I don't even know how many I got. I might have got 12. And then I'm dropping the weight down to like, I think I went to 15s. And then I went to 12 and a halves. And by the end of that, I was like, my arms were like blown up, dude.
I bet.
So that felt really good for arms. I wonder how they're gonna feel tomorrow, like if they're gonna feel beat up and trashed. And
When
then I
did
had to
you
do
when did you hurt your bicep with the straight bar? Was that
this was
today?
like that was a week ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine now. Like I just
Okay, good.
noticed like certain things were like, ooh, this is like, I noticed I tried to do like an underhand grip, like tricep push down, and I noticed like trying to lock it out. It was like it was getting that weird kind of feeling to where it's like it feel like it not atrophied, but like shortened up a little bit to where
Okay.
like I need to just give it a little bit of recovery and stretch it out a little bit, but it's not like something's hanging off the bone or hanging by
Yeah.
a thread at all. It's just still 98% strong bicep is what I would say. I didn't feel it like affect my curls or anything today.
You should be fine, man.
Yeah, so then from that standing bicep curled with dumbbells, I just went into a hammer curl. And yeah, they just exploded like after that, dude. I mean, I'm on a high carb day today too. So that's, also a contributing factor. But dude, I haven't hit arms like that in I haven't hit them with that much volume in a long time. Like I mean, over the last year, like when I was over the last year working with my coach, our arm, the amount of volume we do for our arms would probably be about like maybe 4 sets after a chest day, maybe four sets of triceps after a chest day, 4 sets of biceps after a back day. No arm day. We were doing mostly a push pull legs. We might have had an arm and shoulder day actually before. We have done that, but not to where I'm like doing 15 reps, like
Yeah.
or like, trying to hit 20 reps on something, or just lighter weight and just squeezing it. So my arms just felt like they blew up. And then I went into triceps. So I did a dead stop skull crusher, rest pause set, which same thing, like with my arm. Like I don't know if it's tricep or bicep, but I'm like, I'm not gonna go try and kill myself with this. So if I get more than I think I did 90, the 80 or 90 last week, and I said, you know what, let me just hit 70 today
Yeah.
and really get the most out of this, and that felt perfect, dude, and I had blood in my biceps, so, like, my triceps got a little bit of carryover with that, and then they felt like butter. I got, like, 12, and then I got another 6 after that, so I got 18, I was supposed to get 15, but they felt good. Then I went into, like, a close grip push down. I trained at Redcon 1 gym today, so it's like they had some sweet stuff, but, I wanted to do I thought that they had an Atlantis, overhead tricep extension, but they didn't. So I wound up doing a
Okay.
close grip push down for 45 reps, the same thing to where I'm dropping. It's a triple drop set. You're going 15, 15, 15. And then I did the same thing with a overhead cable extension, 15, 15, 15. And yeah, my arms were cooked, but they felt great. And I just really focused on, that stretch and, good squeeze. And yeah, bro, it's just been a minute since I've hit an arm day like that. Well, not an arm day. This wasn't necessarily just an arm day, but um I mean, I looked at your picture actually the other day at Advance at your nationals photo, and your biceps looked really good. Like you've got very good arm development.
Yeah, my arms, I would say probably my arms are one of my best body parts now.
Yeah.
They used to be one of my worst body parts for years.
No,
I
they're
would say
really rounded out. You got good insertions on them.
I appreciate that. I would say like in the up until like 2020, they were one of my weaker body parts. And
Yeah. So what changed to bring them to what they are now?
I was always like following like a progressive overload program with them. So I would like go as low as like 6 reps, like heavy close grip bench press, heavy dips, heavy skull crushers, and then biceps like heavy straight bar curls, heavy dumbbell curls. And I got fairly strong, but my arms were always behind the rest of my physique. And in general, I've got kind of long arms. So free weights kind of they don't always feel the best. Like there's certain ranges of motion where I like lose tension or it just feels weird. So I switched over to predominantly like cable stuff
Mm-hmm.
and I changed my rep ranges to like a minimum of like 12 reps. So it was
Yeah.
all kind of like feel stuff, pump work. Um, I upped my volume and I went to exclusively just an arm day. So I had one arm day a week. It was probably like 15 sets for triceps, maybe 12 sets for biceps.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, like, I mean, I wouldn't curl anything heavier than like a 30 if I was doing biceps. And I wouldn't do anything like extension wise heavier than like 80 pounds. And I was just like cranking out the reps and they started to respond. But like
Yeah.
I was like out of nowhere. I mean, I've been training like years to try and get my arms to grow. They were always lagging. Like if I put up like an old picture from one of my first couple shows, my
Mm-hmm.
arms were like drastically behind the rest of my body. And it was just they
Yeah.
just weren't responding to heavy weight.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No,
I,
I've
I
heard. Go ahead, bro.
I like those movements. Like I like close grip bench press. I like heavy
Uh-huh.
curls, but they just don't translate to my physique.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started, when I first started training, like everybody wants to have huge arms, you know. So like, I had an arm day,
Oh yeah.
and like, oh man, we used to fucking kill arms in the gym. Like, we used to, like when I got to college, like I didn't necessarily have like friends. Like you made friends like in your class because I just moved here to Florida. I was living in Orlando, and the way my school was set up was you either make friends in your class or like you don't live on campus. Everybody lived off campus. So you figure it out and some people spend a lot of alone time, which I actually enjoyed. But yeah, like I think I mentioned in the last episode, I joined LA Fitness and like met this crew of like kids that were just in there trying to get fucking jacked. And there was this one dude, like this jacked ass arms, and he was putting us through arm days, dude, like every fucking day.
Oh shit.
And we were doing a shit ton of volume actually. I remember this one. This one was like we were guaranteed to do this one. And it was on the preacher curl. You would load like, as many tens on it as you can. And then you'd get as many reps. And then you'd fail, you'd pull a plate off. Uh you go again, you keep going until you're out of tens, shake it out, maybe take like a minute, and then you load it back up
Oh
and just
yeah.
try to
That
get.
was a CT Fletcher kind of thing. He did that for
Yeah,
tricep, I
it
remember.
was like that. It's like it's still your motherfucking set. Like it was like that, and I remember my arms getting smoked from that. I also remember doing like a lot of like incline dumbbell curls, and I remember him saying like don't do hammer curls because like you want to like with your bicep. If I could show this, like no, you should do hammer curls. I don't know why he said not do hammer curls, but like you have this. Where the fuck do I need to go? So you have like how do I get in here? Dude, my arm's too big for the screen.
Too big for the camera.
Yeah, so
There
you
you go.
have this to where you can turn your wrist out, right? And you can get that peak a little bit more. You can get a little bit more of a squeeze out of your bicep by doing that. So I learned that and I would get on the incline dumbbell curl and try to rep out as much as I could. And I was like working my way up with like 30s and stuff. But I always was someone who like when you see people swinging like their curls like this, like man, it's not nothing's happening really there. Like you might get some like forearms and stuff out of that, but there's a lot of shoulder going on. So I heard Fuad say that his arms always responded. I've heard that people say their arms respond to more volume, and I mean it's a smaller muscle and I've kind of trained on both sides, but I really haven't dove deep into the higher volume training with the arms. I sent you. that kid yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up
Oh my
if I
God, dude.
can. Yeah, this kid's
Crazy
arms
numbers.
are insane. So let me see. Share screen. Okay. I'm just gonna share the entire screen.
And one thing about arms is they're in every pose. Like
Hmm.
they translate to improving every pose that you're going to hit. So I mean, it maximizes like um, your presence on stage if you have like good arms.
Yeah. Man, what's this kid's name? So, anyways, let me pull him up. I know I sent you a message. This kid's arms are fucking insane.
Do you know how old he is?
He's got to be around like my age,
A
possibly a
young
little bit
guy, right?
younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Michael Welch. So this kid's obviously got some amazing genetics, but like the amount of volume he's hitting in his arm day is just unbelievable, unbelievable. But an arm day is an arm day, like, and this looks like a straight up bicep day because I think there's like 17 sets in here. I counted them out. Doesn't say how old he is, but here he is on Instagram. So I met this kid. I had some clients competing last year in a show in the Whitney Jones Classic. Really, really good show actually. Uh it's in October. It was like Halloween weekend in October. In Arizona, in Phoenix. And man, this kid had an awesome physique. He's got great genetics. But let's take a look at his arm day, man.
Was he
So
competing in that show?
yeah, he did. He competed in classic too, which he has a great look for classic.
Really?
I think he won men's physique though. He didn't get the win in classic, and I kind of felt like what the hell happened there? His posing was good and everything. So 4 sets of 10 here. I mean, he's going pretty heavy. He's got 45s. And then another 4 sets of outward burnout curls, spider curls, 3 sets of 12 with a 1 second pause. What's he got? 60 pounds there?
Hmm.
30 on the preacher curl, 3 sets of 10. So he's not hitting like sets of 15. I mean, some of them are, if you look here. Um, he's obviously just got some amazing genetics also. Um, but yeah, man, I've seen I feel like I'm ready to go the higher volume route for arms, and I don't know about having an actual arm day just yet. Uh, because I think I'm getting enough volume on my chest and back day. But
Your arms aren't weak by any means. Like
yeah, I don't think
they're
they're
in
weak.
proportion to your physique.
I would say so, but we all want bigger arms.
Sure, that's true.
Let me see when this was. I want to show you what this show looked like, dude. It was stacked. Like there were quite a bit of competitors. So when would this have been? This is 22 weeks. When would October have been? Let's see.
Um,
Here we go. Is it showing my screen okay?
I'm not seeing it on my screen.
Oh, you don't see my screen, huh? So let's do this. Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen. To fix it, go to system preferences. Okay, hang on one sec. Did it show the was I able to pull up the guy's Instagram?
No.
Not at all. Oh shit. Sorry guys. Technical difficulties. Let's
When I
see.
initially logged into your link, it said something, the same link you just got, the same error. It said that when I initially logged in, and then I had to close it and reopen it. But
Oh, okay. Let me
some
see.
Chrome was not allowing me permission to my camera.
Oh, really? Where would system preferences be? Chrome
Settings,
preferences.
maybe?
Let's see. Fuck, man. I don't know why it's doing that. Privacy and security, maybe.
And this was the show that your classic guy did, right?
Yeah. So let me try this one more time here. Share screen. Is it sharing now?
It's sharing now. Yep.
Okay, so this was the show, guys. Thank you for being patient. So yeah, WJC Classic. These are who I had compete in the show. Rob, and then Nuria. There's this donut wall back here. So we'll take a look. Look at the fucking amount of classic competitors, man.
That's
Like,
crazy, dude.
dude, if you get a chance, go do this show. It was a good show, man. They put on. It was just like well run, good stage, good venue. You know, there were some pretty good physiques at that show, man. I would go do it just because it's a good amateur show. Um,
Have you seen any shows in Florida with that kind of turnout for competitors?
Dude, no, I honestly think that as you go out west, as you hit like Texas, as you hit Arizona, California area, like I think you see some really good bodybuilding shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people like I couldn't tell you exactly. Like I've also heard that like New Jersey's very competitive. But that's also because it's like what universe is up there. I've
Yeah.
heard
Atlantic
that, I
States is
mean,
a big show in New Jersey.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think certain areas like the competitive spirit is maybe just a little bit better. I think Florida's like I look shredded, like I just want to look good in the sun.
Yeah.
But
And I
who
think we
knows?
probably have too many shows too, to be honest.
Yeah, we have a lot of shows. That's the other thing, man. There's one every weekend, and like there's promoters trying to get their name out there and stuff like that. But I feel that they do get a little bit watered down. I feel
Yeah.
like we need to have like a I don't know, like there's like you have like okay, the biggest amateur shows in Florida should be Tampa Pro Am, Florida State. Um, those Grand Prix shows are, I think those are pretty good. As you get more towards like Miami and stuff, like I think some of those get pretty good turnouts. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen a stage like this. This is like this is the toughest show I've seen. You
No,
know,
that's
there were the
wild.
most guys. Um, but yeah, overall, man, that was a good time. It was Halloween weekend too, so we went out to Scottsdale, Arizona after. It was wild out there, man. It
Yeah.
was fun. Yeah, it was cool. Um, yeah, it was just and they're all deaf actually, bro. They're all deaf, but we
Really?
went like yeah, we went like dancing and stuff in this club and like yeah, man, it was funny. It was
That's
good
cool.
times. Yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, so anyway, oh dude, I didn't even show you the kid. Let me go back. Now we got to backtrack again. So here, back here. Uh here we go. Where we at? So yeah, this guy's arm day is pretty nuts. So as you look here, cable curl drop set, 3 sets of 10, 15, 20. And so this guy, he competed in the show. He was on that stage. He wanted up doing classic and men's physique, and he did well in men's physique. I think he might have placed second in classic. I thought he should have won it, but you know, so we got cable curl drop set 3, 10, 15, 20. We got 4 sets of conventional curls, superset with outward curls, which is a burnout. 4 sets, spider curls, 3 sets of 12, ISO preacher curl. So single arm preacher curl, 3 sets of 10. So that's 3, 6, 10, 14, 14, and then 17. That's 17 sets of biceps.
I mean, his arms are insane, so I can't say it's too much.
Yeah, I can't knock it, dude. I can't knock it. I mean, like, okay, like there's definitely genetics on the side, like I was saying, but like, you know, 17 sets, and maybe it's just for the Instagram and stuff like that. Like, it's a cool like workout to try. I don't know if that's what his actual program is like,
That's true.
but no, his arms are nutty, dude. Like, you know, like those are pretty crazy. But like you said, also like yeah, you see the arms in every single shot. Like no one's gonna be upset in any division whether your arms are too fucking good. You
No.
know? Yeah. So um
Like people can say, "Oh, his legs are too big for his upper body, or his upper body's too big for his legs," but no one ever says, "Oh, his arms are too big for his physique." You never hear that.
yeah, everyone's just like fucking arms are awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you have an arm day right now?
I don't. Right now, I'm on a kind of a modified push-pull leg. I
Yeah.
feel like
How many days are you in there? What's your split? Is it 3 days on, one off, 6 straight through? What are
so
you,
it's
5
it's
straight
three
through?
on, one off, two on, one off.
Yeah, that's what I've
It's
done.
basically a modified push-pull leg. But I feel like right now, I need size everywhere. So I feel like
Hmm.
push-pull leg is the best split to build overall muscle.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like the bro split is kind of more of a refining split. Like
Hmm.
once you have enough size, so that's why I'm doing push pull leg. But I think a lot of guys that start with push pull leg
Yeah.
eventually have lagging arms at some point because I just feel like there's not enough volume in push pull leg to like fully develop your arm. But at the same time, they're
Yeah.
getting further than they would
Hmm.
overall than if they followed the body part split. So I would still suggest if someone's looking to build size, push pull leg until you get to, you know, I don't think anyone's ever at the size they want to be, but to the size where you're competitive, and
Right.
then maybe tweak with like
Even
certain
some
body parts.
specialty training.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I don't really know about Mike is Israel's like Renaissance periodization, but I think that's what he kind of explains in that too. That like, yeah, like you're gonna get everything in with a push pull legs, or you're gonna at least build overall size, and then eventually you're gonna need specialization.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, for overall size. Um,
I've heard Dusty Hanshaw say like
I
unless you
think
have,
he maybe he said that too. I'm not sure who says that, but
yeah, he said like unless you have one body part that's pro level, you should always
that's
be
it.
doing push pull leg.
Yeah, it's about the pro, like, what is
Yeah,
pro level? Yeah, so if everything back's pro level, legs,
yeah.
front to back are pro level, like, then you might need an arm day, or you might need, an extra chest day, or I mean, I don't know. But yeah. Um, I mean, for men's physique, for me, like it's a little bit different. Like I sort of have to specialize, like,
100%.
you know,
It's
like
more of a specialized physique overall, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's I mean, it is about, you gotta these guys are big, man. I mean, they all have, like, crazy backs, uh, arms, chest, abs, um, but I'm not gonna ever skip out on legs just because they do so much. I mean, for one, they keep the food, like, being able to come in, and it keeps my appetite up. I like training legs, and if I, do wanna jump back into classic, I wanna have that overall size to where I can, "Alright, it's time to go back to classic," and,
Hmm.
um, and body build. Um, but, so that's kind of the name of the game, but for right now, I'm also hitting chest and back twice a week, which is still, like, within the realms of push-pull legs. But I do have, like, that, like, dedicated ab day. I'm gonna dedicate shoulders, at least to get a little bit more volume in them, and, I think the arms are good where they're at right now, like, at the end of that chest and back day. I don't think they need their own day necessarily. And, I mean, another thing you can also think about, guys, is you don't have to train. I like training, like, okay, it's Wednesday, it's this day, like, it's Thursday, so it's
Yeah.
a leg day. Like, I like knowing the day, and not having, like, okay, what day is it? I mean, if you
Hmm.
look at your program, you'll be able to figure it out, but you can do a 8-day split, a 10-day split. Like, you don't necessarily have to do the same 5 workouts every single week. You could have an A-B split to where, you're hitting A one week, the first 5 days, or in a, 5 or 6 day block. And then in days 7 to 11 or 12, you're hitting these other workouts, and then you're recycling through these, so you can set up your programming in any type of way, which is probably going to get my mind going. I'm going to wind up typing up a whole new fucking workout plan, like,
I actually
this
think
week
that it's
sometime.
better. I think the 7 day like work week is kind of restrictive. Um,
Yeah. Mhm.
Ideally, like, I mean, obviously, like if you have certain family commitments or certain work commitments where certain things you need on certain days, it works
It's
well.
convenient. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but if you don't have that, I really feel like it's more limiting than helpful. I would follow more like a 10 day or an 8 day split if I did
Yeah.
anything like that.
I mean, and another thing that I want to bring up is, like, Lee Priest said he would hit legs twice a month.
Yeah,
But
I've
he
heard
would do
that.
so fucking much, and it's like, look at
Yeah,
his legs, like, and then you could look at, like, Mike Mentzer, like, preaching, like, um, like, I mean, Justin will say it, like, do a set of bicep curls, max out bicep curls in May, and then do a set of
yeah, I love
chest
that.
press in December,
Yeah,
like, and that's what you need for growth, but, like, I don't know, dude, I also, like, one thing that, like, I noticed, I think I brought this up in the last episode, but taking that rest day or taking that break allowed me to come in the gym and really put it in, like, and
yeah,
that happened to me with COVID, like, to where, like, we were out of the gym and I came back, I'm like, "Okay, like, I don't have to go 5 days in a row." Like, by my 4th or 5th day, I'm, like, kinda tapped, but if I take a rest day, like, I go 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, like, I'm fresh.
yeah. Well,
So it's
it's a
like
completely different sport, but if you look at like powerlifting,
uh-huh.
going into a meet, those guys take off time from the gym before they go into a meet because they want to
Yeah,
prepare their body to be in the best possible shape. So, I mean,
central nervous system and
yeah,
everything.
I think
Like,
that
there's
carries
that
over
to
to bodybuilding
consider.
too.
There's that to consider, I mean, 'cause if your body is, like, working on repairing your central nervous system, like, how much energy can it really dedicate to repairing muscle? You know?
100%.
Another one, I mean, like, another one, would be, like, caffeine and, like, cortisol, like, dude, when I, like, first started working out, like, give me the strongest fucking pre-workout, like,
Oh,
I wanna
yeah.
be in the gym for 4 hours, like, I don't know, were you ever like that?
Deep in prep, I was like a stim junkie.
Oh, I'll
Like,
I'll I'll push the stims and prep
I
though,
would look
like
for anything to get me up, you know?
yeah, I still try to, like, not be, I'm not trying to have a heart attack, so I do, like, okay, I had 200 mgs caffeine here, I had 200 here, I had 200 here, 600, like, no big deal, but, like, dude, I've had times where I'm pushing, like, 1,000, 1,200 milligrams a day, like, working Monday through Friday, like,
Yeah.
or like drink 2 bangs. I remember when Bang came out, I drink like a Bang in the morning and then one at noon or lunch to get through the end of the day. Go take like a 300, 350 milligram pre-workout. That's 950 megs of caffeine by the end of the day, every fucking day, you
That's
know?
going to fry your central nervous system.
Yeah.
You know?
So if your body is spending time on repairing your CNS, like your central nervous system, cortisol, like, what are you getting out of that? So it's like there is no magic formula really between like because you have to consider recovery and you have to consider your volume. So both of these things, like, you have to have a stimulus, but you have to be able to recover from that stimulus.
Do you still use stims in the off season? Like a stim
Yeah, I
based
mean,
pre workout?
well, I'm drinking a Celsius literally right now, and it's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, like, um, I will, but, like, here and there, like, I don't really need to. I took before legs, I think I took, a scoop of pre-workout, which was, like, 300 caffeine or 350 or no, yeah, 300. I think I might have taken a scoop of Total War. Um, but, like, I don't really care, like, I'll forget about it, like, if it's, like, a chest day, like, I'll just take a pump,
Yeah.
or if it's, like, I'm not I will drink an energy drink, like a 200 milligram thing just to kinda get me going. I do like some of these energy drinks that have, like, the alpha GPC or dynamine or, like,
Hmm.
choline or whatever, like, I don't know, I think they kinda put you in a good focus, and then you can get into that flow state. The pre-workout that I get sent every month is called Prolific. If you look in the description below, you can order that yourself. It's 160 caffeine per scoop. So like you could take 2 and you'll be at 320, but it has other things like rhodiola rosea, which is like good for like um cortisol and like resetting your central nervous system. It's not gonna like jack you up. You have theanine in there, which like these things like offset the jitters of like actual caffeine. So it's just a smooth, clean energy, and that's really all I'll need. So like my total like caffeine consumption in the off seasons like probably under 400 milligrams per day on average.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Do you drink coffee in the morning?
I don't. Only in prep I drink coffee. It's weird.
Yeah, I get like that too. Like I could care. I don't know. Like I like coffee. I had some this morning, but I yeah, no, during prep, like a warm, like, coffee, I'll throw a few Splendas in there.
I like cold
That's
brew during prep. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'll hit up Starbucks and get like, but I mean, I try to watch like certain things like, okay, like, I mean, I'll dial in the sauces and stuff like that, and like, okay, like, I'll Google the macros, like how much, uh, almond, what are the calories in the almond milk that Starbucks actually puts in this drink? Like, I don't
Mhm.
want to just like, oh, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. Like, bro, you had four fucking, things, and this is a 400 calories at the end of the day. Like, yeah, like
Yeah,
you're kind of knocking yourself out of the deficit. Like, I'll watch those things, and just not fucking sabotage myself. But yeah, like a little bit of almond milk or a little bit of sodium or seasoning and stuff like that, or like sauces, like 15 calories, 10 calories here and there is really not going to add up. You just got to move more. But
yeah,
I do like coffee during that time. So, um, yeah, I mean, breaking it down, we've been on the topic of like arms and stuff like that, and should you have an arm day and training and recovery. Um, and you mentioned prep. So give me so you won the overall last year at the Harbor Classic.
yeah,
So, okay, like what was your prep like going into that? Because I remember you said you worked with Andrew Barry for that. And then coming off of that prep, um, you went down to like 200 milligrams of TRT and
yeah. 3 days a week training.
yeah, I mean, I guess we can go into that, but I want to know about the prep. Like how far out did you start?
Yeah.
Um, did you pick that show at that time? Give me kind of the rundown of how
So it
you
was actually, I started prep the day after Christmas. It was like, I'd looked at the calendar kind of for 20, it was 2021 at the time. And I was kind of, usually the shows are on the same time every year. So I was
Mhm.
kind of like guessing where this show would be. But I was coming off an injury, so I was kind of detrained. So I kind of needed to build up a little bit first. But like the day after Christmas was like my first official day.
Yeah.
And I was doing pretty well, but like I was significantly smaller than I was in 2021. Like in 2021, I competed as a middleweight. I was 176, but I was in really good shape. And
Uh-huh.
I was just looking at my physique, and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be 176 on stage. Like, it just wasn't really coming together. And I did a consultation with Andrew at like 16 weeks out, like just a
Yeah.
one-off consultation. I sent him over my program, and he made some different suggestions for things. I started implementing insulin for the first time then,
Yeah.
and my weight immediately jumped up like 15 pounds, and
Mhm.
I was the same body fat. Like the insulin just completely
Oh, it just
transformed
made you
my physique.
fat.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
I
wait,
can't
wait. It,
stand.
it made you fat or
No, I
you
was 15 pounds like of solid weight heavier. Like
okay.
completely transformed my physique. Like I was the same body
Uh-huh.
fat, but I was harder, I was bigger, and like I said, my weight was like 15 pounds heavier. So I was like 185 when I did my
Mhm.
consult with him, and I went to 200 at like the same condition level. So then I did my prep by myself for another 12 weeks, and I was
Mhm.
really looking good, almost to the point where I was like I was scared I was going to fuck it up. So I reached out to him at 4 weeks out, and I was like, I'd
You're
like for
doing
you
your
to
own
take over.
prep
I did, yeah.
from
Um,
12 weeks to 4 weeks?
yeah. And I
Oh,
was scared
fuck.
I was going to fuck it up because I was like looking really good. So I was
Yeah.
like, he's like, man, you look good. Like, you sure you don't want to just do that? I was like, no, man, I'm worried I'm going to fuck it up. So
Yeah,
he took
because I
over.
mean, one thing like during prep, like this always fucks with me is like you wake up in the morning like flat, shredded. You might take your progress pictures, send them over, and then like you eat a few meals, get some water in you, and then by the end of the day, you're like, I'm fucking fat, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to go look back at your like morning photo, and you're like, no, we're on track. But yeah,
And
you can't get. It's not. I don't know. I don't know how some people do it. I don't know how John Jewett is prepping. He's got a different type of mind to do it, and some people
yeah,
I don't know. I heard
I don't have
Ronnie
the
would
mind
only
to
look
prep
in the
myself.
wouldn't even look in the mirror on prep. Like, I don't fucking know. But okay, so 4 weeks out, you get in contact with Andrew again. He says you're looking good.
Yeah, he took
You
over at
sure you
that
don't
point.
want to just finish this out?
Yeah. Because
Did you
I was thinking about having him take over after the show. Because I worked with, before him, I worked with one coach for like 4 weeks, and it just wasn't a good experience. That was like in 2017. So I
Yeah.
haven't worked with a coach since, but I really felt like I needed someone else's opinion on things. Like I was kind of like mind fucking myself with different things. Like, should I do this? Should I do that? So I just kind of needed somebody to call the shots on things. So he took over, and it was like really kind of cruised right in from there. I was already in
Mhm.
shape at 4 weeks out, and we just kind of cruised in. And then at about, I think it was like maybe 10 days out, he brought
Yeah.
up doing nationals at that point.
And this is August, right? Like August,
Yeah,
so you started prep 8 months
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Like a rough idea of like I should do this show. Were you
hmm
thinking like I can get ready earlier at any point?
I
Were you
thought
ever
I,
were you ever thinking, oh, 3, 4 months is all I need?
around April, I felt
Uh-huh.
like I could be ready for any show within 6 weeks if I wanted to be.
Okay, so after about, 12 weeks of being back in the swing of things,
Yeah,
yeah, okay. So yeah, and I just want to stop you there real quick because a lot of the times, like with prep guys, like you know, oh, 12 weeks, 12 weeks is enough time to get shredded. Like 16 weeks or 20 weeks, like yeah, man, like you can get shredded in that time. But like, if do you want to make an improvement, or because you're gonna bring the exact same look year after year after
I
year
would have been
to the
worse. I would
stage,
have been worse.
or you'll be fucking worse. Like,
Yeah,
so like that's the thing, man. Like prep, like I'm 47 weeks out, which I haven't even we're gonna touch on that next. But let's go back to 4 weeks out, and you're thinking about working with him after the show. So he
yeah.
takes over the prep at 4 weeks out. Um, what kind of adjustments like did he make,
It
at
was
that
very
point?
conservative. Like he
Mhm.
said, let's do the same thing, check in a week.
Mhm.
So then based on how I looked, he would do things like really conservative. Like he put a step count on me, like for the day.
What was
Um,
that?
it was 8,000 minimum step
Mhm.
count. And
Yeah,
then I was
that's
doing
good.
30 minutes of cardio 5 days a week.
How are you tracking the step count?
I just my phone, I have a step counter.
Yeah. Yeah,
So it's a
guys.
little bit over that, to be honest, because like if I go to the bathroom, I'm not
Yeah,
taking my phone with
right.
me.
Dude, I get up to go to the bathroom like I don't know, 15 times in the night when I'm on prep. Because
Yeah.
that's like you drink all this water throughout the day, you fill up and you're all full and shit, and you're like, oh, I look like fucking shit. By the end of the day, you get up, go pee 15 times in the middle of the night. Then you wake up flat as hell and shredded again. You're like, oh, okay. Like, but dude, yeah. Uh for everybody out there, like step count's a really easy way to just like move shit, man. Like move your food and you should if you're someone who works at home, a lot of people work from home now. 10-minute walks, or just going for like a morning walk or an evening walk. I like to go for a walk before my last meal. And then if you just go to the health app on your iPhone, if you have an iPhone, it's right there. Um, or just download a step count app and just keep your phone in your pocket and you'll hit your steps through the day. But it's good to have a measurement on that metric, I think.
Yeah, I
Because if
do a
you're
step
doing like
count now, even for the
15,000
off
one
season.
day, 0 another day, like, you get to the end of the week, you're like, oh, I don't really know like why I'm not progressing. Like well, things just aren't consistent. It's just another variable that you shouldn't be nailing.
And then you're
So
likely,
okay.
as prep gets harder, you're going to move less just naturally.
Yeah, your NEAT's gonna go down. NEAT's
Yeah.
non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Like, dude, I don't want to go do laundry. And then we live in Florida, so it's like it's hot. You're already sweating because you're on tren and fat burners and stuff like that. You know, it's just, you might be on orals too, so you're like your liver values, like when your liver is like starting to take a hit, like you're gonna start to feel a little lethargic, depending on like how liver toxic that is
Yeah.
and how well you're doing with the health subs. But yeah, definitely gonna go down. You just don't have the energy, but you measure it up to your step count, you're there. So okay, makes the changes. 8K steps a day, 30 minutes of cardio. Is that where you had your cardio out at, or were you
It
killing yourself
ended
with
up,
cardio?
it finished at 40 minutes a day
Were you
for that
doing
thing.
more than that before he got, you got with him?
Yeah. When I did my consult with him, I was doing like an hour a day. And then he's like, he had me pull like all the clan out. He had me cut my cardio to like 30 minutes, 3 days a week. and then I put in the insulin, and like
You
literally
put
just
in insulin though. You put in insulin at 4 weeks out.
this was like when I did my consult with him at like
Oh,
20 weeks
okay.
out. Yeah.
You had Clennon at 20 weeks out.
Yeah. Just like 40
Uh-huh.
micrograms a day.
Yeah.
But he pulled that out and dropped
Mm-hmm.
my cardio down. But
You were
by the
doing an
time we were,
hour at 20 weeks out.
yeah, like I said, I just wasn't like, I was kind of like skinny fat, to be honest.
So you were just trying to kind of clean things up.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the other side of the coin. Like, like you might not be 20 weeks out. You might be a year out. Like, I mean, my prep was from May to May pretty much. Like basically didn't miss a beat. We put on 20, 30 pounds and 10 of that winded up being stage weight. But, 25, 30 pounds, but yeah, and 10 winded up being stage weight. But dude, I only was doing 4 days. First, it was like 3 days a week, and then like up until like 5 weeks out, then we brought it to like 4 days a week, like 30 minutes. And then
Really?
like at 3 weeks out, we ramped it up a little bit.
This was from Puerto Rico?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, and like I was like I didn't have a mandatory step. There was like a 6 to 8K step kind of day, which I would just hit
Mhm.
walking around the gym as a trainer and stuff. Um, but then I started to like you get in that mindset of, man, I'm fucking fat by the end of the day.
I need to do more
So and
trips.
my steps are low. Let me go. I would go for a walk. I would go get 8K steps, or sometimes I would do 10K. Just trying to keep things consistent. Um.
And you're
So
hitting 10K even now, aren't you?
yeah, well, not like every day, but I will do about 20, 30 minutes of cardio daily, and then like Sunday morning, I like to go and hit like fasted like anywhere from like 8 to like 10K. Maybe I think last week I did like 12K. But like my high day was super high, and I just felt like food in my stomach still in the morning. So I was like, let me go move this a bit, get some of this water going, and just push meal one back to like noon. So it was good. And then I had a good week. Like I was able to really assimilate all that food.
That's good.
And I've noticed my legs have like filled up too, like having the higher carb days. But um okay, so then let's fast forward to like back to 4 weeks out, and now like three weeks out, you do that first check-in.
Hmm.
um what changed? Like, he brought you to did the consult with him, made some adjustments, then you kind of rode your own, and you got down, you know within another 16 weeks or so.
So like between the 4 week out mark where I got with him and
Uh-huh.
show day, I probably lost an additional 6 or 7 pounds.
Yeah.
So he was kind of monitoring that. Like if my weight would stall, he would give me like a refeed day. And then
Uh-huh.
afterward, he would either bump cardio or pull carbs down a little bit. And he would kind of balance that out. Like we would pull down for, 2 to 5 days. And then he would give me like a refeed. And then he would kind of
Yeah.
adjust cardio from there. And then once we got to 2 weeks out, it was more like maintenance where
Did
it's
he
like,
bring
okay,
food up?
yeah, we're in shape. We can start
Yeah.
bringing down cardio and up in food at that point.
Yeah. I think that's the move, because then you actually are able to fill out the muscle. You're already lean, and if you're keeping the diet tight, like you just have a fuller muscle.
Yeah.
You've burned all the fat off at that point. You know, you're not in a surplus, like, unless you're more at a maintenance. So, but that also drops off a lot of fatigue and stuff like that. So,
But
I
like
mean,
I
that's the
needed him for
thing.
that because if I was running my
Yeah,
own prep, I
you'd run
wouldn't have.
yourself into the
Yeah,
ground. You'd be
absolutely.
doing, yeah, yeah. I
So that's where I
mean,
feel like a coach is really valuable.
yeah, and there's so many ways. Like someone might need to run into the ground and be doing cardio up until like a day before the show or 2 days before the
100%.
show. But like ideally, like you want to be ready 2 weeks out. Or even like my coach said, I want to see like lines in the glutes by 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep. Like check my 5 week out pictures. Like, yeah, I start to see some lines. Like, okay, we're right on track.
Yeah.
You know. Um.
I think
So
Justin had
then,
to say like you should look at yourself in the mirror 2 weeks out and be like, I hope I don't fuck this up. Like you
yeah.
should be ready to go at 2 weeks out.
Uh-huh. That's pretty much it. And then it's just a fucking waiting game that lasts 2 weeks before a show.
Horrible.
Oh man. Fucking, it's like, you ever hear like you ever hear the analogy like okay, getting kicked in the nuts is more painful than a woman giving birth, and it's because like a guy gets kicked in the nuts, um, he's like never again. A woman has a baby and gives birth, just like let's have another baby. Like
Yeah,
no one's like saying like kick me in the fucking nuts again. Like, but that's what it fucking feels like. But we wind up doing it again, man, just because of the
that's
love of
what's
the
fucked
sport.
up. Yeah,
I know. It's like you go to this fucking extreme where like you just hate. Like, dude, like I fucking oh man, like just those last few weeks are just like they're so brutal. But um we could actually we have that to talk about in this episode too.
yeah.
So, okay, now you get through those 2 weeks, you do whichever carb up protocol, water manipulation, this that you know, and you're backstage, you're at athlete check-ins. When did you know you're going to win the overall? Did you know by the time you showed up to athlete check-ins there was just one other guy in your class, or was it like, okay, this is going to
Backstage
be a when you got
when they
backstage,
called for bodybuilding,
you
and
looked
I saw it.
around?
Yeah, I was like, I think I'm gonna win the overall. There was actually there was one older guy. He was a middleweight. He
Yeah.
was fucking peeled. Like
Yeah.
he kind of had some like missing body parts and like
Uh-huh.
he didn't have the best structure. But just looking at him backstage, like this guy was fucking peeled. I was like, I don't know. He could give me some trouble, but in the pictures, you know,
Yeah,
he
that's
really
the
did.
other thing, like, I mean, the other thing is there's just not as many bodybuilders, like, at shows nowadays,
Yeah,
so, like, yeah, dude, I mean, honestly, like, if you wanna, like, go do a good show, I mean, there's October, you're not well, I don't think you're getting ready. Are you getting ready for anything this year?
I'm
Maybe the holiday?
the holiday.
That's a
Yeah,
see, that's actually a good show. It's the end of the year, like, people are coming off nationals and like, I might as well stick out the prep for another 2 weeks,
last year I think
and
there was like 20 bodybuilders total that did the show.
yeah, that's good, like, that's
Yeah,
pretty good because sometimes you get, like, 5. Or like, whatever, like some guys crossing over and like
one
just
guy in
isn't
each
really a
class or
bodybuilder.
something.
Yeah, yeah, dude, like that sucks. Like, you want to we want to compete, so um yeah, so you won the overall and then nationals prep is the kind of the next topic of conversation. But yeah, like me like I had just won the overall at the Clash. I competed in classic and men's physique. I felt like classic, like, I feel like I have a good look, I feel like I have a great structure for it.
I
I
thought
just
you
need
were going to take your class in classic.
I thought I was too, and honestly, like, I think I could've if my posing was better, but I think I do need overall just more size, and I think the guy beat me on size, and that's kinda what it was because my conditioning was spot on, and, like, if I had to give the toughness of a show, because 'cause I've been to a lot of shows, I would probably give it, like, a 5. So it wasn't like it wasn't the most competitive show, but, a win's a win, and, so I didn't walk into tanning and be like, "I'm fucking winning this thing."
When
You
did
know,
you know?
well, I also decided to compete in men's physique too, so, like, even walking back up for the overall, I had no idea because 'cause I'm like, "Fuck, this guy won," these guys all won their classes. I
Yeah.
didn't even really pay attention because I had won my class, or after the morning show, I'm like, "Alright, I won my class," like, I didn't even really know who I was gonna be competing with at night for the overall after prejudging, because I didn't go and look who's, in the taller classes, I kinda just got off stage and got out of there.
Hmm.
And then we're backstage, I'm pumping up, and I see, like, a couple other guys, getting ready to go on stage 2 for the overall, and I'm like, "Well, this guy could win." I mean, these guys are all taller than me too, in men's physique, like, having height and having that good, V taper is really, kinda key. But then, we got on stage, there's 4 of us, I think I was on the end at first, I was on the left stage. They did a front pose and they did a back pose. They turned us back to the front, and then they said, "Okay, number 682," and this person switched. I'm like, oh, I'm getting moved in the middle. Like, who am I next to? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right, so maybe I have second next to this guy, and then they moved that other guy over to the end and move the other guy into the middle. I'm like, okay, so what the fuck's going on here? Turn back around, back to front, back around, back to front. and then exit stage. And like I just felt really solid about my posing. I mean, my posing and my composure, like with men's physique, because I've competed in like 6 or 7 men's physique shows. So it's like I know like, and I've been in
Your posting
overalls
is really
before.
good in general,
Yeah,
but for men's
yeah, and
physique, it's like perfect.
Mhm. I've been in overalls before, so it's like, I like my goal was just to at least get a win out of this season. It definitely was to win an overall, and then we exited stage left, and then they called my number up, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And it was exciting, man, because I had like 10 of my clients there, like a few friends and stuff like that, and I wasn't expecting it, so it was awesome. It was a
That's
Memorial Day
cool.
weekend, like, couldn't have been better, man, like, for my
It's
first
the best
overall
feeling in the
win.
world when they call your name.
Yeah, you're just like, "What the fuck?" Like, "Alright," like, especially because I wasn't expecting it, like, but then I go look back at the photos and the video, I'm like, "Alright, no," like, yeah, and then you look at the overall photos online and stuff, like, yeah, I'm just sharp, man, and, like, I think I've got a good package for it. Um, and then, next topic's nationals prep. So like I said, like I'm 47 weeks out right now. That's the plan, is to do junior USAs in 2024, Charleston, South Carolina.
What
It's
month is
May,
that?
it's May. So
Okay.
it's that first national show of the year. So it's time to get on that stage, man. It's time to get on a national stage. And I worked with my coach last year for a year straight, and we, put on 10 pounds of tissue, and um it's time to do it again. Hopefully we can gain a good 5 to 10 pounds. So, like I said, and what we were talking about earlier was like the prep. Um, the prep, it doesn't start. The prep doesn't start at 12, 20 weeks out. It starts. It's a long game, man. I mean,
Yeah.
bodybuilding's a long game, and really, it starts a lot further out than just 16 or 20 weeks out. And when I picked my show, like, I thought I was gonna be ready like May last year. I was like, October, I'll do the hurricane again, which is like, you got May, you got June, July, August, September, October, 5 months, like,
Yeah.
which is what, 20 weeks, or yeah, 20 weeks. Everybody wants to be 20 weeks out and on prep already, but like there was so much work to be done between, then and now, and that time. And now getting ready for a national show, like I gotta bring something elite, dude. Like
Mhm.
I'm not leaving a stone unturned. So,
Well, I mean, you said how
um,
many weeks out are you?
47.
I mean, you literally are though, because like people don't
Mhm.
understand like the term off season. Like every other
Yeah.
sport, off season is like, maybe train a little bit, kind of sort of on a diet. Like bodybuilding
Unless you're
off season
Kevin
is,
Levrone.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. He can
Yeah.
do nothing and then show up, start training 3 months out from a show and
Yeah.
dominate it. But
Yeah.
literally you have to start, the moment you're off stage, really your prep starts for your next show. If you want to improve, if you really want to improve, you have to take advantage
Mhm.
of every day, every week. And like,
Yeah.
so it is going to be, 47 weeks of preparation for
Mhm.
that show.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the reality of that is too is like, you're coming off prep, you're coming up from a really great spot. You've built all these disciplines and good habits and stuff like that. Body's insulin sensitive, it's ready to grow. So it's like, why not take advantage of that? Like,
Yeah.
which we've touched on, like rebounds and stuff like that in, previous episodes. But dude, I'm loving it, man. Like I don't think I've like put on like real tissue yet. Like, I'm gonna have to solidify that, through the health phase and then going into the real off season. But like I think things are filling out, and like, the um the muscle isn't like concrete yet. Because if I just stop and I go fuck off today, like I won't really retain much of that. But like, if I get through this rebound, get through the health
Yeah.
phase and maintain stuff, and then go into a real off season where we're really pushing the food and where it actually gets hard to like fucking eat, and you're up eating at 3 a.m. because it's like you have to get that meal in, or you wake up at 4:50 because like you forgot to eat your beef and rice
Yeah.
or your last meal of the day. Like, you're gonna get it in,
I think Fuad talks about like solidifying a weight. Like,
Yeah.
let's say you go up to whatever weight, like let's say 210, just as an example. You
Mhm.
might look a certain way at 210, but like as you hold that weight through the weeks, you solidify that weight. You like grow into that weight. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's once you hit like a weight like off like a rebound,
Yeah.
there is a lot of that is like, you're kind of like ballooned up on glycogen. But
Right.
after you hold that weight in hard training for weeks, that muscle tends to solidify. Like you can hold
Yeah.
that weight. It's a completely different look.
Yeah. No, I mean, through the years, I've been 190 before, I've been 190, I've been 200 now. Like I hit 200 for my peak in my off season last year. When hit 200 now, it's gonna look a lot, it's gonna look better.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, man, I'm trying to pull up this photo. This has got to be in my archive somewhere. But I remember the first time I hit like 170, and like I was like I probably used the worst photo ever. Like it was like me after having like a mass gainer shake and whatever. Like but I don't know where the fuck this photo is right now. Unless I could pull it up here. Uh this would be good to show you kind of an example of that. But anyways, yeah, like each time I've prepped, each time I've cleaned up, got leaner, and put that weight back on, it's always looked better. So
Yeah.
I agree with like solidifying the weight and having your body used to it. So 47 weeks out for me.
Now, will
Now
you have to
now
qualify, or are you qualified already
so
with
I'm
with?
qualified. So I'm
Okay.
qualified for a year. So I mean I'm qualified up until May 27th, 2024.
Okay.
I believe Junior USA's is May 19th. Now there is a show in Miami, May 10th. Steve Weinberger is actually the judge. I just found that out today. Um, at in Miami, it's like
Okay.
Florida Grand Prix, and that's a pretty competitive show from what I understand. So that might be a good one to hit 2 weeks prior.
Mhm. Get in
You
front of
know,
the judges, like let them see
yeah.
you.
And then if he has any feedback for me, like, well, like I don't know how much. I mean, I improved between Puerto Rico and between Clash, like just overall tightness in my package. you know, and I don't want to bring something subpar to a stage. I want to bring the best that I can bring, but like I also would rather kind of do a warm up show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to go in with a plan B. Like at the same time, like I don't want to be like, well, let me do the pro qualifier. Then if I don't then I'll just go do this one a week later. I'll go do an amateur show. Like
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be nationally qualified, like I want to be on those stages. But at the same time, like, I also like competing and I wanna do the sport of bodybuilding, so it's like and I'm 26, I'll be 27 then, like, I'm also not in, like, a rush to need to turn pro, but, um, I just wanna bring my absolute best for when I do.
Hmm.
So, you know, so that's me. So you're gonna have to requalify again though, right?
Yeah. So I'm
Because
either looking at the.
you're qualified up until August, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I could do. I mean, I could do the USA's um, next year or this. Wait, what is it?
Is there a junior USAs and then there's just USAs?
Yeah, there's junior USA's and USA's. All the junior shows just classic and physique turn pro. So they don't have any pro qualifiers. The only pro qualifiers for bodybuilding is North Americans, USA's, nationals.
Oh, okay.
Uh, but my goal is to do nationals 2024.
Uh-huh.
So I could either qualify if I do the holiday classic, I could
That gives
qualify.
you that year.
Yeah, or I'm looking at early next year. I don't know if you saw it. Fuad is having a pro am in Detroit. It's
Oh,
like
yeah?
March.
It would be a good show. Like,
That's what I was thinking. A
I
ton of
kinda
ton of turnout, I think.
I mean, that's the thing, like, I also wanna get my feet wet, like, with winning overalls and, doing bigger shows because, like I mean, one, I wouldn't advise anybody to go to nationals until they've won an overall, you know?
I agree.
Winning your class or placing second in your class, like, and getting qualified, like, you're gonna be the first loser pretty much at nationals,
Yeah,
um, because that's just another animal, and there's nothing wrong I don't think there's anything wrong with the NPC, like I showed you guys earlier, like, there was 30 guys on that stage for classic. If you beat out 30 guys, that's 30 guys who aren't going to nationals, you know?
Yeah.
So
I would say
uh
unless you're like a really like lightweight guy, like let's say you're a
mhm,
lightweight bodybuilder, you're probably not going to win the overall. But like anything above that, like if you're a middleweight
mhm.
or if you're any classic guy, I feel like if you're not winning the overall, I mean, you even have people that don't win their class that go to nationals.
Yeah,
Which I
it
mean,
sounds like
unless
a
like
big
Phil
waste of
Heath
money.
shows up in your class or something like that,
Well,
like
yeah, if that's the case, then sure. Or that kid with his arms fucking shows up.
yeah,
Like,
like
I mean, I almost think like it wouldn't like if you were trying to build your brand or you're trying to build yourself as an athlete or like you're trying to get exposure, and then I mean a lot of these judges like you'll get one that's at a national show and next week they're at your local state show or whatever. Like, they're gonna start to see you on stage. You know, pros like they'll kind of go on like uh, what do you call it? Like a campaign to where they're gonna hit these 4
yeah,
shows this year. 4 shows is a lot, you know? But as an amateur, like, you can also do that. Like, you can jump into any show. When you're a pro, you have to sign a contract. You
yeah,
have to do that show, like, um, so as an amateur, like, you can line up, like, 4 or 5 shows throughout a year, you know, um, go collect fucking overalls, or go collect at least class wins. That might even be my approach too, because then it's like, okay, like let's see how much size we can actually put on between now and what that would be like December,
mhm,
January, kind of begin prep about like actually, pulling food back probably about 18, 20 weeks out. And then from there, we'll have a good understanding of where I'll be at, by the time we pull, really get, skin lean. Um, Especially if we kinda compare, like, my peak off-season weight this year to what it was last year and how much stage weight I accrued last year was 10 pounds, you know, I might have to push 210 this year to hold that 2 pounds or that 10 pounds, but if it is the same composition, then we could say I've added the tissue, if it's
yeah.
like, well, you're sloppy as shit, like, you might look kinda close to what you
What do
looked
you
like
weigh
last
now?
year. 184.
Because
I'm
you look
kinda
really good in
holding
your
there.
posing I saw today that you posted.
Yeah, 184, and I went to that was also a posing clinic too, so I was the only men's physique guy, which was cool, so I got to work directly with, like, one of the pros.
That's awesome.
Cool guy, man, gave me some good tips and stuff like that. One thing I heard too is, like, you know how, like, in men's physique, guys will, like, move their arms and, like, reset poses and, like,
Yeah,
they're all moving and shit? Like he said, like, they don't look at you until you are set in the pose.
yeah,
Because, like, in bodybuilding, they're not, like, doing a side tricep and then really relaxing and then hitting it again or a side chest, relaxing and hitting it again, like, part of it is, like, being able to hold your shit together on stage, and
100%.
a split decision between, like, 1 and 2 guys, and it's like, well, these guys, like, pretty competitive, it's kinda hard to decide who's who, but the one who's gonna stay solid in their pose is who's gonna kinda take it. Like, if you look at the Olympia, like, who
I was just
posed
gonna say,
really I know Ramy posed really well,
Nick
in the
Walker
20
too.
Nick Walker poses really well, he doesn't fucking let up. Big Ramy poses really well at the 2021 Olympia,
Yeah.
um, you know, that's
And then you see
bodybuilding.
other guys have to relax and then like let's say they're doing a side tricep. Like
Mhm.
Ramy would hit the traditional side tricep and you would see guys start to fatigue and then they would kind of relax and they would roll their shoulder over and they would hit that kind of front side tricep and then they
Right,
would like
but now
pull back
you're
into it.
Ramy.
It's
Mhm.
too much movement. Like the eyes are just sticking on Ramy at that point. Like you can
Yeah,
expose guys if you can just hold poses.
yeah. I mean, I think if, like, Ian will do that though too, like, Ian has he hits, like, a side tricep, and then he does I don't know
That
what he
front one
does.
too. He does
He
the old
hits
like Dorian side tricep with the one leg back.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good look.
I
You
like
know,
that
I
pose.
I think if you have a small transition to where you're just showing it from a different angle, that's one thing, but resetting is like, okay, you're gassing out, like,
Yeah,
not that it marks you off, it's just like, we're not looking at you until you sit in that pose, like, we're gonna go look at who else is solid, like, naturally, your eyes are gonna draw to that, but that's what I heard, um, from him, um I asked him about the weight caps too for men's physique.
What did he think?
He said it might be like, okay, this, if you're this height through this height, like almost like bodybuilding's open and like you have a 212, like you should just have to be under this weight cap if you're
Oh, okay, I got you.
maybe that, unless it's like because a classic has a height, weight cap for every single, height,
Yeah.
you know. I think they could base it off that. I've also heard it's also based off of BMI. Like you could be like a 27 or some or
Interesting.
28. Yeah, it's based off your BMI, and then they calculate what that number would actually be. So you can't be like a 30 BMI, like 5'7", like men's physique competitor. You could be like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could be a 30 BMI like bodybuilder, but like
Yeah.
like and there are some bodybuilders in board shorts walking on stages. Like, oh man, it's crazy.
I saw
But
it was a post on Instagram that was like kind of highlighting that it was some local show, and this
yeah,
dude was like jacked up,
just
like huge
stacked.
traps and neck, just looked
Yeah,
like so silly in the men's physique. I mean, trunk.
yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, man. I always look forward to the Olympia. Are you gonna try to make it out there? Because it's in Orlando. Are you
100%.
gonna
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Let's go, bro. Let's
Yeah,
go.
absolutely.
I actually went a few years ago. I just wanted to pop in there because it was in Orlando. I didn't even
Yeah,
have a ticket. I walked in. Some people were walking out, and they said, "Yeah, you could have my ticket." I was like,
really.
"Awesome," because they were expensive, dude. They
Oh my
were they were
god,
like
yeah,
200-300 or something like that, but whatever, man. Like, it's a good time, and I
that's
think
cool. But
they're gonna actually gonna have an expo and everything, so it'll be good. So yeah, man, tell me about your like nationals prep. So you go win that overall, like you won the overall. In my eyes, you're qualified to go, compete at a national show. Like that was your first national show, right?
it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that was August. So then you have September, October, November, December. You have 4 months between, for that prep, which, is doable to make some improvements during that time and be ready.
Hmm.
Um,
And I was like jacked up. Like, I mean,
and
coming up in overall, your motivation's through the roof. I wanted to just like step on the gas and like keep going. You know what I mean?
yeah, totally. I mean, I was ready to go and do Chattanooga like 2 weeks ago, and I
Yeah,
saw the competitors there. They look good, but bro, like I gotta be better than them, like
yeah,
I can't like I can hang with them. Like, no, I need to fucking like dominate like on stage. Like, you know,
yeah. I heard like you know who Stuart Sutherland is? Beef
Stu,
Stew.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, he said one of an interview he was talking about like when he did USA's. He's like, if you're going to a pro qualifier, you should look like a pro if you expect to win. Like you
Yeah.
should look like a pro going into your pro qualifier if you expect to win. And I
Yep.
think like that's the exact mindset you should have. Like you should literally look like a pro, like going to an amateur stage if you want to win.
Yeah, and I mean, there's people that take multiple runs at it and they don't turn pro their first pro qualifier.
Oh, sure.
But, I wouldn't I would go in to win, Like, that's you gotta have that goal to go in to win, like, go cracking the top 10, I mean, I'd rather go win an overall at an amateur show.
Yeah. My goal in my head is first call out for
Yeah, for
2024.
so it's top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're fighting for it.
Yeah. You're in the conversation. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, mhm.
And that's all you
So,
can ask
yeah,
for, bro.
I mean, and that's good too, and at a national show, you're actually gonna get some you're gonna have the bodybuilders there and stuff, but, I also like the idea of doing, like like a Fuad show, like the Phil Heath, like, show,
Yeah.
or, like, someone's show that's a big name,
Jay Cutler
that
Classic in
the Jay
Vegas.
Cutler, yeah, like, some of these other shows that hold prestige, like, there are prestigious amateur shows um that there's a good Matt Porter video, rest in peace. Do you ever listen to any Matt Porter stuff?
I love Matt Porter.
Yeah, I love him too, man. He's got some good stuff. There's a video he put out, you know, years ago that was called "Stop Doing Pro Qualifiers,"
Oh, really? I
and
haven't seen that.
yeah, go check that out. I could even link it below in the description. Um, I'll pull it up right now.
He had some really good insights on on just prep in general. Like he was like one of the first ones to do the step count thing. Like coaches weren't doing that.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he was one of the first to implement that. Yeah, Phil Viz talks about he got that from Matt Porter.
Yeah, that's good. I'll put this link in the description for that video, but it's a good video because he doesn't just say it as like you're not ready and he just shit talks you like, but he explains it as, yeah, you should be winning overalls and by the time, you should feel ready, to really be going in there. And he cracked top 2 at nationals,
Yeah.
and he built himself a brand as an amateur. I mean, Dave Palumbo as well, like, you
John
know,
Meadows built all his
John
brands as an
John
amateur.
Meadows, yeah, I mean, a lot of his career is being an amateur, but, like, if you wanna do something in the sport of bodybuilding, like, I mean, even is Justin Harris a pro?
Now,
Even Justin. I
yeah,
mean, he's worked with individuals, he worked with Steve Kuklo and,
Luke
you know
Sandow.
yeah, so, I mean, like, if your, goal is to, like, bodybuild, like, I'd rather be an awesome amateur than a fucking bad pro, like,
I agree.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
and get my ass smoked, you know?
Or like I think about it like I was having a conversation. Like if I could, let's say, turn pro as a
Mhm.
middleweight
Yeah.
versus being an amateur super heavyweight, I
Uh-huh.
would all day take being an amateur super heavyweight because the reason I got into bodybuilding was to be jacked.
Yeah, to
But
be a
I would rather
like,
not
a
have a
huge
pro
body.
card and have a better physique in my mind.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah. Right. Because if you were to turn pro as a light heavyweight or a middleweight,
middleweight, yeah, you're not
you
going to do
gotta
much.
well, how tall are you?
5'7"
Yeah, so you need to how much you need to be
at the limit of 212 to like do anything.
yeah, so you either be a 212 guy or you push 220, 230, and it's like yeah, I mean, what's your
Long
weight
term,
cap?
I think I need to be like 235 on
What's the
stage,
super heavy? Super heavy as you can be any?
over
You can
221.
over 221.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that's the top.
Yeah. So anything, so heavyweight, the heavyweight limit's 221. Super heavyweights, anything over 221.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, I mean, there's plenty of bodybuilding there, Um, all right. So, 4 months though. Let's go back to your nationals prep. So, 4
Yeah.
months you're, guns blazing ready to go to nationals and coming off that overall win. Um, you talked about in the last episode that or the episode that we talked about rebounds that you didn't do a rebound. You dropped to 200 tests, 3 days a week training.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, you're supposed to get ready for nationals.
Yeah.
But then you still kind of have time to clean out and get ready for nationals. So I guess I can understand the logic behind that. So give me the breakdown of how the nationals prep went.
So how it broke down, obviously, we pulled off everything except TRT for
Any GH?
uh, 4 IU. So
Hmm.
a decent amount of GH. Um, Still doing insulin like pre-workout and
Yep.
post-workout. But it was just like, I was supposed to train at like 70% intensity. And we
How
didn't
long? How long was that like that like
think
mapped
it was
out for?
like almost 8 weeks, dude. Um,
8. Did
it
you
was
do that for
something.
8 weeks?
Yeah. And
Oh,
that's when we started to like, my weight went up to, I was probably in like it was like 210. I
and you
don't
were
think I
on
got
stage for the overall at what?
on stage. I was 190. I think I weighed in like 196 for that show.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't put on a ton of weight, but my physique just looked different. Like
Mhm.
from just coming off almost all the gear and not training as much. And like I said, my motivation was through the roof. Like I just want an overall. I'm going to do my first national show. If I was going to run my own prep or someone else's prep, I would have like done a 4 to 6 week rebound, maybe had like a 4 week cruise, and then like
Mhm.
hit the gas again and let's go into prep. But it was
Mhm.
just like it almost like I almost like got out of the groove, if you know what I mean. Like prep, we were in prep like 5 days a week training, doing cardio, and then it was like I'm doing nationals, but I'm training like I'm just an average gym guy. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
And then we were in the position where I had to drop weight like quick, and my body really wasn't responding. And then we went back to training 5 days a week. the cardio, like I was doing a max cardio previously. I think I was like 40 minutes, 5 days a week.
Mhm.
I was doing an hour in the morning, an hour at night with a step count, zero carbs, and my physique just went to shit. Like,
Yeah.
and like I reached out to Justin at 6 weeks out. I was like, do you have any client space coming up? Because it was just like I was just looking ahead to like the
At
rebound at
least
that
come
point.
off of this and rebound and make some
Yeah,
progress. Yeah.
I was like, because I even considered like, should I just have Justin like take over this prep? And I'm like, this prep is lost at this point. Like nobody's
But
gonna
what are
bring
you
me
gonna
back.
do? You're never gonna like dropping out of a prep. I don't know. Like you better
I
be fucking
considered
on
it.
your deathbed.
Yeah,
But like, I don't know. I feel like if you say you're gonna do something, you fucking do it. Like, I don't know, man. Unless
yeah.
like
Well, because I wanted my
life
best
is
rebound
just in
possible,
shambles. But don't
so I
go into
needed to
prep
get as
in
lean as I
shambles,
could.
anyways. Yeah.
And I didn't want
Hmm.
to leave him in a position at 6 weeks out where I look like shit, and then he has to try and like do a miracle to like bring my body back to life. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna ride this prep out.
Uh
I'm just
huh.
gonna get as lean as I can, and then I'm just gonna jump on Justin day after nationals, and then we'll kind of start
Yeah.
fresh. So my motivation at 6 weeks out was just to get lean. Like I
Hmm.
had no aspirations of placing
Because you're
well.
just setting yourself up for the rebound at this point.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Hmm. Well, did you have any type of goal? Like, did you still want to crack the first call out, the top
Still want to do
10?
first call up, but I honestly didn't believe I was going to.
Mhm.
I really didn't
Did
believe it.
you what'd you get? Second call out?
Second call out, yeah.
Yeah, you were in the what, top 10?
I
Top
was
12?
11th, yeah.
11th?
Which it
Yeah.
was a decent sized class. There were 22
Uh-huh.
light heavyweights, but still
Yeah.
that's middle of the road. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right in the middle of the pack.
yeah. But it was a
Yeah, I
learning
mean,
experience. Like I got to be backstage at nationals.
yeah,
I got
do you
to
mind if I pull up your pictures from
No,
nationals
absolutely.
compared to, compared to, uh compared to
The Harbor Classic.
yeah, because I mean oh, shit. NPC. Can you see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe if I just type in is it Jimmy? Or
I
do
think
you
it's under James.
James? Okay,
So
so
that was the
dude, you look
Harbor
full
Classic.
as a fucking house. Holy shit. Super full. Dude, this is a physique right here. This
If I
is
would have showed up looking like this at nationals, I really believe I could have made the
dude,
first call.
can you still see this or you can't see this screen?
I just see the first pose, like when you pull it up.
Okay. Okay, hang on one sec. Um, let me share another screen. All right, so this here, let me just do this. Oh, hang on. It won't let me do that. Okay, share screen, Chrome tab, galleries, competition photo. All right, so here's Jimmy at the Harbor Classic. Full as a dude, you're full, like everything is popping. Looks like you have a pretty good pump going too,
Yeah.
for stage. Vascularity's there, you're dry. Um, let's see if I can click through these. Shoulders, hamstrings, glutes are just peeled. Really good.
Yeah, I don't think I really could have looked any better for that
I mean,
show with
the
my
quad
current physique.
sweep is crazy, dude. Like, what the fuck is this going on here? This is crazy.
Thank
This
you.
like this quad coming out. That's nutty. Yeah, dude. This is just a fucking good look. I mean, your quads coming out like this just make your waist look tiny.
Yeah, and I don't have a small waist by any means.
I mean, yeah, but like it's you're covering it up well. The
Yeah.
shoulders are wide. Every like that, everything's. What is your waist? Do you know what it measures?
Now I don't.
Yeah. Okay, so let's pull up.
You'll see these national pics. It's just like
Mhm.
it's like that meme where it's like
Did you get to see?
you
Did you get to see those pictures I pulled up?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Um,
You know that meme on Instagram where it's like you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about?
yeah, is that how it?
That's how the physique looks like.
Yeah. All right, so
And you
we
can
got.
even see it in my face too.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Um, no, you look like you're fucking owning the stage. All right, so 11th. So here we go. We'll pull this up. Yeah, man. I mean,
Look at like a front double or like the most muscular, their
I
side
like your
chest.
front double though.
The front double still looks okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
because I mean, I
that's a
see
pretty good shot
let's
for
look at
me anyway.
I wanna see the hands claps one. Um, I feel like you don't have as much as j there's just not as much pop. I mean, if you look at the chest striations, I feel like they were deeper in your other one. You're still
Yeah,
dry, you're lean, you're exactly where you need to be, but I think after hitting the brakes, like, it's like and then going 0 carb, that's the difference, guys. Like, you know, like, y your physique does change, like, very quickly when you're this lean. You know, if he were to have, like, been able to be ready 2 weeks out, cruise into the show, like, you'd see another inch everywhere on here.
yeah.
Um,
I just look deflated. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
let me switch the, angle here, so let me share this screen. Let's go, uh, remove, stop screen, present, share screen. Let's go alright, so what do we wanna see? Like a hands clasp. Let's go to this one.
It's not sharing on my end.
Yeah, not yet. Here, I'm gonna
Okay.
share it now. So we'll go to a hands clasp, photo. So this is so what I'm looking at here is, like, he could have another inch everywhere. He had another inch, on the quad sweep.
Hmm.
This just doesn't look as dramatic as what it looked like before. And
And
then
my
I'm looking
waist
at
looks thicker because of it.
because you don't have the as like if he was able to be ready 2-3 weeks out, like cruising to the show, like you'd have another almost an inch here and everything. The adductors would pop a little bit more, giving this a little bit more fullness. You'd have more of that X. This looks a
Hmm.
little bit more streamlined, just straight. There's like this is very good, but there's like there's some freaks that show up at nationals.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up a few more here. So, I mean, dry hard, just you can't like. There's a certain point where you can't fill out. I mean, I had a guy get ready for 5 shows last year, and like, by the end of it, he didn't look his best. And it was just, it was a big learning experience. But this one looks pretty good. But you're kind of bowing the legs out. It looks like a little bit more.
Yeah. The front double and the front lat looked okay,
Mhm.
just because I mean those are just naturally like pretty good
Are
poses.
these morning show or night show
These are
photos?
morning show. So if you don't
Okay,
make first call out at a
you don't get
national
night
show,
show.
you don't go to the night show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so look, glutes are just not as dug in, hamstrings aren't as
No.
there's not as much lines going on, and that's just, like, fullness really, and, I mean, he already has the conditioning there, but when you don't have carbs in the muscle, you're not gonna see these lines as present just because the skin is not stretched fully from a filled out muscle.
Yeah, you can be
So
peeled, and if you're flat, you end up looking a little bit soft.
yeah,
You know?
this is just a little bit rushed, so, like, that's the other thing, guys, like, you wanna go rush a 12-week prep or a 16-week prep, like, you're not gonna look your best because you're not gonna
No.
have the amount of time to, like, put in these refeeds, see what's working for you. This is what full looks like. This is what actually now you're starting to get flat, so that's why, like, throughout a diet, sometimes you'll have, like, fill you up for, a day and then pull things down, see what you look like. Your coach is gonna have that eye, and that's why you take progress photos every single week. But but yeah, man. Um,
The only like positives I can pull from it was obviously just being on a national stage, like knowing what that feels like,
yeah,
being backstage for the pump up, how they handle things. And then
yeah,
from a conference perspective, like I feel like I was a very poor version of myself and I finished middle of the pack looking not good for me. So me at my best, I feel like, it's a confidence boost. I definitely
yeah,
expect to make the first call out in 2024.
yeah. So let me not just put Jimmy on blast. Let me put me on blast too, guys, because like there's, I mean, like everything, dude, in bodybuilding is like it's a definitely a big management sport, similar to how like baseball is. Like you can't put your best pitcher in for 9 innings. He's gonna throw his fucking arm
No,
out.
that's a good
You know,
analogy.
So the same thing with your training, like you have to know when to push, when to pull back. Like you can't just take 300 milligrams of tren year round, even though I know someone who has done that. Or
Tempting.
200 megs of tren, 200 megs of mast, and then like 200 megs of test year round. I was just TRT.
Oh my God.
I don't even want to mention who it is. It's just he's fine. He looks
How did he
great.
look?
He looks fucking awesome,
Did
bro.
he?
No, yeah, he looks fucking great. Like he looks great, but like I don't know what his blood work looks like.
Yeah. Maybe not as good as he
No,
looks.
but lean year round actually, yeah. Um, oh man, yeah, we're gonna get into some gear talk too at the end here because there is some interesting things, and I my coach is he, we're back on insulin and everything like that, but the next one's gonna be an interesting one because it's been a minute since I've taken this consistently. Um, but while we're here and while I'm pulling up the my photos, let me ask you, man, do you think prep gets easier like as you do it more? Like
I
I know
do.
we said it 2 or 4 weeks out, you feel like fucking death. But give me your take.
Aside from nationals, which was just a clusterfuck, every
Mhm.
show I've done has been easier than the previous one.
Mhm.
In general, I feel like once you dive down to that level of body fat, your set point for body fat is constantly changing. So you're always starting off leaner. You should be leaner than you were your previous prep. And you're just
Yeah.
more accustomed to dealing with those feelings. Like when
Mhm.
you have no sex drive, you don't want to move, like you've been there before. And just having
Right.
been there before, okay, this sucks, but it's going to be over before I know it.
Yeah,
So
you
you're
know how
able
to
to deal with those
navigate it.
things better. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the same thing, and I mean, like, the other part of it is, like, benching 135, like, is hard as fuck at first, but, if after you do it for a year or 2 years or whatever, like, now benching 135 isn't hard as fuck anymore,
Yeah.
but you're not just taking the easy route and benching 135 for 2 years, otherwise, what are you doing? Now you're benching 225 and you're putting them around the same level of effort into that, so it feels maybe equally as hard, but you're getting further. And like the other thing, I mean, with prep, I'm not gonna now to like not just make it an analogy, but to give you some practical like, uh, you know, f- for the viewers to have some practical like experience. It does get easier because like what Jimmy said, like you've been through it before, and um, since you've been through it before, you kind of know what to expect. Dude, my first prep, I didn't know what it meant to go hypoglycemic. Like, um, I I remember like getting off the stairmaster. I had like 45 minutes to do on it. I got through like 32 minutes, and I fucking started going hypo to where I go and lay down on a bench. I'm profusely sweating for like 10 minutes, more than I even was when I was on the stairs.
Yeah.
And then I like ran down the street, grabbed a Gatorade G2 and a Quest bar, and it kind of brought me out of it. And then I wound up driving, another 2 minutes down the street to my house and passed out of my car because I didn't want to walk up 3 flights of stairs.
I've been there.
Oh man, but it doesn't happen to me since. I used to I went hypo on like my first two preps. I didn't go hypo at all last prep. And there wasn't any insulin involved. It was literally just from being on low carbs and just burning it out. Uh, but I know how to manage that now. Like, I know that hydration is so important, minerals, electrolytes. Uh, each prep you learn something new. I think one of my biggest takeaways from my last prep was like dial in the condiments and dial in the sodium, like at least by like 10 days out.
Yeah.
Not saying you have to drop like artificial sweeteners or like condiments, but they got to be steady, at least. And for me, like, I think like 2 to 3,000 milligrams of sodium a day at that point is pretty good. I don't really need 5,000, 6,000. I think I can use that and use those tools like up until a certain point in prep. Like I figured out like on my 2019 prep, like, oh, I could take a big tablespoon of salt before the gym and get a pretty good workout.
Yeah.
Or I could have pickles and stuff like that. And like, it's not really going to affect my look, or, I could have a sugar-free jello. or something like that, and I'll be fine. Or I can have a
That's
diet
one of my
soda,
go-tos in prep.
the
Sugar-free
sugar-free.
Jello.
Yeah,
It's
I don't buy
amazing,
them
dude.
any other time. Like I've gone to the grocery store and looked at them like, nah, I don't need them. Like
Yeah,
or even like pickles, like I don't give a shit about them.
those are lifesavers in prep, though.
Yeah, diet sodas, sugar-free Jellos. It's like a gram of protein for a sugar-free Jello, nothing else.
Yeah,
And you're pretty much not going to get fat on a gram of protein. Your body has to do so much to turn that into a carb at that point that it's or basically like to convert that into a carb, it's going to burn more than 4 calories.
yeah.
Let's
If
say you
you're
get
getting
two
fat off
calories from
sugar-free Jello, you got a lot more problems.
it. Yeah,
You know.
something's wrong. Diet sodas. Man, what's another like prep hack? Taking your GH before bed to be able to sleep. But I also like to take it pre-fasted cardio and stuff like that. Um, Man, I can give out like all the hacks, like, but we'll save that for another episode. But it definitely does get easier. I think what you should do in your first prep is you should fucking balls to the wall, get as shredded as possible, make as
Yeah,
many fucking mistakes. Don't. I'm not saying go like off the diet and go cheat on your diet and like fuck miss workouts and fuck up as much as possible. But try your absolute best, give your absolute best, and where the chips fall, the chips will fall. But just get shredded. Whether it is like get as shredded as humanly possible. Just push it, and
local
it'll
shows too.
never
That's what they're rewarding. Is
what
conditioning for the most part.
Yeah, and you're gonna step off that stage with dude. My first show, I stepped off stage with the biggest fucking smile on my face with a second place trophy
Yeah,
in a class of 3 guys, and like, I was just like, dude, I was so not just happy to be done, but it was just like, got the bug at that point, and
yeah.
woke up the next day, had pancakes, didn't know shit about a rebound, and blew up like from like 154 to like 190, and just like the floodgates were open. I literally probably put on 20 pounds in a week.
I weighed in my first show at 138, and I
Uh-huh.
think by like a month later, I was like 185, 186.
Yeah. Now I
Just
will say don't do that because that's gonna fuck your kidneys up,
that was
dude. I
horrible,
got
dude.
up to
That
like
looked
190
horrible.
later that year. Yeah, that's another story. But I worked with a coach and we pushed like a shit ton of gear, orals, and everything, and so much fucking food. I got to send you this diet and then like what the gear protocol was.
Oh, I'm interested. Yeah.
It was Nick Trigili. I'll just say who it was from, but
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. Send me the coach's name.
yeah, I think he's got his own like bro smarts and everything like that. But yeah, I don't know. It was not. It was. I put on size, but it was gross.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. So. Yeah. I mean, the last topic I have is Anadrol. So. Coach said we may be adding an Anadrol within the coming weeks. So it's been a minute since I've taken Anadrol. But it's like one of those things, man. You get fucking strong on it, and I
Yeah.
think it's great for overall size. I think it can be pretty dry if you keep the diet tight. Otherwise, I think you could be a water balloon. But if you're eating like shit, like i- it's not necessarily like the drug. I mean, the drugs are going to influence the mineral like and fluid retention and things like that. They're gonna work on angiotensin in your kidneys and help make you retain more aldosterone and water that way, which I'm on telmisartan, so we're having water come off that way and keeping pressure off the kidneys and heart. um and I may have to up that as Anadrol comes in, but um overall, like, it's been a minute since I've taken Anadrol. There's a million different protocols to run it. There's like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. There's which the one thing with Anadrol is that it starts to kill my appetite and I start to feel toxic pretty quickly
Yeah.
on it. So another thing with Anadrol is I do get strong as a fucking ox, but it does affect my I will get some gyno from it if
Okay.
I'm on it consistently. And I know you don't really deal with gyno too much yourself, but give me have you ran Anadrol? Is this something you use, you enjoy that where do you feel it's best placed? I've had someone put it in my prep before, and this is like an old school.
I've
This
actually
was
been
like
curious about that lately, about
I had it in
experimenting with
my
that in prep.
prep. I had it in my prep, and we ran Nolvadex on it too.
And
And
at what stage of your prep did you put it in?
like in the beginning of prep, like
Okay.
12 weeks out, and then like
Okay.
at like 8 weeks out, we threw in Masteron and Trend.
You see, I've been interested in maybe running it something like the last 4 weeks. Like,
Mine was like Deca, EQ, test, and then Anadrol for like 4 weeks,
okay.
and then we dropped EQ, we dropped Deca, dropped the Anadrol, and then went Trend Master on and test, and then another 4 weeks later, at 4 weeks out, we'd add Winstrol, and then Clen would be in at like 8 weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
That's like an old school cycle, and that I used to work with like more of an old school type of coach in my first coach. So for you, yeah, I mean, for you, you said, you think it might have some application like 4 weeks out, like for fullness and stuff like that. I think it would too, and then also that'd be a nice time to suppress the appetite.
Yeah.
But where what context have you ran it in? Have you ran it in off season? Have you ran it? You haven't ran it in prep. Where
So
do you
I've
see
ran
it
it,
best applies?
I think 5 or 6 different times I've ran it. The
Mhm.
first time I ever did was in 2017, and it was just,
Yeah.
it was like magic. Like I got all the benefits, super
Mhm.
strong, full. Didn't affect my appetite at all. I was doing like one pill, which it was 50 mgs pre
Mhm.
workout. I would do it 5 days a week, and I ran it for 4 weeks, and I put on like 10 pounds, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it was like 10 legit pounds.
You're getting
Um,
strong, like making like
yeah,
PRs
like
and
I was pretty strong at that point. Like I was actually years ago, I was much stronger than I am now.
mhm.
But I was probably like put like another 50 pounds like on my like deadlift and squat. Bench went up like another 35 pounds with the
Wow.
same rep ranges that I was doing.
This is
Um,
in an off season
Off
phase,
season. Yeah. So every time I've ran it has been in an off season.
and
The
then
other,
you did 5 days in a row, or you're doing a 3-day on, 1 day
so it was
off?
like whatever my split was, it might have been like, let's say like Tuesday, Friday off.
Uh huh.
Those days I wouldn't take it. I would just take it pre workout. So it was probably
I
like a 2 day on, 1 day off, 3 day on, 1 day off type split.
I think that's the way to run it. Like, because I think you want it to kind of build in your system just a little bit, but not to the point where it's getting toxic. Uh,
I think the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off is not enough time in your system, to be honest.
I think 2 weeks on though is like 2 weeks straight of Anadrol is like, dude, I'll feel wrecked after that. I think I can't remember last time I took it and like noticed it like blew my strength up, like to where you walk in the gym and the weights feel lighter. I thought I was gonna get that with Halo test, and we ran Halo into my last show. But dude, I was just so depleted at that point. Like they say Halo is like the strongest. I've never ran Halo in an off season. I don't think I would because it's not
I
really a
haven't.
muscle builder. And I don't need the aggression necessarily. Anadrol does make me a pretty aggressive, I would say, in the gym. It will kind of get your blood pressure going a bit. And that's why I think it's probably best done pre-workout. But then I also think like 2 days on, 1 day off might be a good approach, or just the training days. That way that toxicity is not building up.
Yeah.
Now, the last time I ran it, I remember I either took it the day before and then that day and I went and trained, or I just took one pill that day, a 50 milligram, or maybe I took 75. I can't remember. But I remember walking in the gym doing T-bar rows and just making them my bitch. Like,
Yeah.
like just like this feels fucking light. Throw another like plate on here. Like just ready. Like it was a back day too. So I was just ready to pull, hard as fuck. And it felt great. And I think it will be a good addition um to what we're doing, trying to really add on some overall size and just fullness and thickness to the body. Because that fullness, like I almost think of fullness as like, and this is real bro sciencey, but like it's fullness to where the muscle is like capped out. It's well fed. It's well hydrated. Like that's a good environment for a muscle to build. It's still insulin sensitive, not to where you're spilled over fat and sloppy. Like, yeah, when you're fat and sloppy, you're full, but you don't have any means of insulin acting on that cell. When insulin, now
Yeah.
here's like the science part. If insulin's not going to act on a cell, it's not going to send as strong of a message. You're not going to get an IGF-1 response. You're not going to have the same means of telling that muscle to build proteins. But now when you're full, this is what you're doing when we talk about solidifying a weight. you're full in a muscle, not spilled, like not necessarily spilled over, still insulin sensitive. And then what's happening is now insulin can act on that cell. It could tell the cell to build muscle proteins. IGF is going to work better on that cell. Um, but when you're insulin resistant, insulin like growth factor, insulin cannot work on that cell. Now you're just a fat, sloppy piece of shit where you have to start prep in December for an August show
Yeah,
and be an
I
hour
was
of
there.
cardio.
I've been there.
You don't want to do that, but that's the other thing, man. You learn, you know, and yeah, dude. I
I was
mean, I think,
thinking I did run it one more time with success
uh-huh,
in 2021, right after my
yeah,
show, which
uh-huh.
wasn't a good idea to put Anadrol
After the
in.
show,
Yeah, it wasn't a
dude,
good
I
idea.
took okay. So after my show in 2019, I took an Anadrol one day. I took one. And, like, after my show, like, I didn't, like, go into a rebound. I think I dropped to, like, a cruise dose of test and, like, was just living life, like, Kevin Levrone style off season, like, working out. I was still working out, like, 5 days a week, but not in a
Just having
rebound.
fun.
Yeah, just having fun. And I was also, like, drinking, like, twice a weekend, like, guaranteed, like, maybe Friday, Saturday, maybe probably not Sunday, but usually Friday, Saturday. You know, I don't drink alcohol anymore, but, was drinking then. I took an Anadrol, I go to the gym. Oh, fuck, man, I forgot what else I took. I took Plasma Jet by Gaspari. I should
I
probably
remember that.
fucking
I remember that.
file a lawsuit for this shit too, because I actually still owe a bill to the hospital for this,
Oh shit,
which
are
it's
you serious?
like $300. I've just been, like, avoiding it, but I
What
should
happened?
fucking dude, I go to the hospital, my liver's like well, actually, okay, so I wake up in the middle of the night, and I puke, like, I'm fucking puking, like, not to where, like, I didn't drink, like, I wasn't like, had been drinking or anything like that, but, I had gone to the gym that night, I did back, I took the Anadrol earlier that day, I took Plasma Jet for that workout, I go home, I go to bed, I wake up, I just gotta puke, I puke in the toilet, and I'm like, I can't stop puking, and I'm like, "Dude, I think I need to go to the hospital." So I drove myself to the hospital. I pulled my car over on the side of the road, and I puke out the fucking side door of the car. Like, I'm like, "Holy shit, like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?" And then,
Was it like bile that you were puking up?
man, I don't know. I think it was. It was, like, yellow,
Oh
probably. I think it
yeah,
was
yeah,
probably
yeah.
bile. And then I get to the hospital, and they're like, "Yeah, your liver enzymes are pretty elevated." And I'm like, "What are they?" Like, they're up in the hundreds or something like that. And I was like, "Fuck, dude. Fuck this Anadrol." And then my coach who had prepped me, he's like, "Hey, do you have any Anadrol?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll send it right over to you."
Oh shit.
And, yeah, so but now I actually do have some Anadrol on hand, so I feel like I'm more responsible and know how to run it now. But
Yeah,
yeah, post show, like, that's also, like, your body's in a really sensitive spot, guys, like,
yeah.
dude, I'll tell you what, man, after my show in 2019, um, I've been to the hospital twice after a show, and, like, you know, I went to the hospital because I was dehydrated. So, and this is like, I mean, I'm kind of like letting all the chips out on the table, but anyways, like, I'm post show and like, enjoying life, fucking eating everything, but kind of like keeping things tight, but not really. It was one day I like wanted everything to eat, and I go and I eat fucking actually up until like noon or like 2 or 3 o'clock, I had like a clean day of dieting. And, then I'm like, "You know what?" I'm driving by Culver's. I'm like, "I want a concrete mixer." So I get that. And then I'm like, I eat that. And then I haven't really had much water today. And then next thing you know, I'm like, "I want a pizza." So I go get
Oh
pizza from
shit.
Domino's, and I'm like, "You know what? I might as well get a dessert from here too." I've never had these brookies that they have. It's like a brownie cookie. So I get like that. I kill like half the pizza or a little bit more, and then like half the sheet of like brownie cookies, and I go and lay down and pass out. I forget what else I wound up eating that day, but then I'm like, you know what? I should finish this day off with some, with a nice drink. So I made a old fashioned, which is like whiskey and like a cherry or like an orange, and
Okay.
then like these bitters or whatever you put in it. And it's a pretty good drink, like if you drink alcohol. And then I like go to bed. Um, And I'm like in the middle of the night, like fucking my kidneys are just like on my back. It's just like,
Oh,
fuck you, and my kidneys are just like being squeezed, it felt like. Um, and this is like nonstop for like I don't know. I thought I had like a kidney stone, so I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. Go to the hospital, and they give me fluids. Start to feel better. They ran blood work. They're like, yeah, you're just really dehydrated. Have you been hydrating today? Like, no, like I haven't. I didn't even take any diuretics before that show, but
How many
yeah,
days?
man,
How long post show was this?
dude, this would have been like probably a week, 10
Okay,
days
yeah, that's tough. Dude.
after. Yeah, so, like, after that period, like, the thing is you are dehydrated because that muscle hasn't had those carbs in a while, whether you take a diuretic or not, like, because you haven't filled out the muscle and this muscle hasn't experienced this level of fullness in a long time to where your body's still adjusting after a show, so, yeah, ease your way back into food and Anadrols and alcohol and
It's all fun, but you got to
stay
pay the price for
hydrated
it.
and keep moving after a show. This I haven't been to the hospital. This this I
There you
don't
go.
plan
That's good.
on going anymore. I do not plan on going anymore, bro. I don't want medical bills or. Oh, another
That's
thing
that.
is like another thing that was a game changer for me. Telmisartan, bro. Like
Yeah.
in order being able to push up last year, my off season, I was hitting like a wall, like 190, 194, 195, uh, or getting over 190. And until I got Telmisartan, like I was able to push without like having like blood pressure like issues or like headaches or like just feeling like watery. And that shit at 40 milligrams, that's what I take daily is 40 milligrams, and that literally game changer. I actually just got some blood work done, just like my lipids, my test and my estrogen, because I'm running test and primo right now, so I want to see
Mhm.
what um one the lipids are doing, after like blasting some orals pre-contest. And then I also want to see, okay, do I have my dosage right between my test and primo? Because if it's the estrogen's in a good spot, then I can continue to taper it up a bit, keeping that ratio. I'm running five, like 60 tests, 420 primo. So there's a good gap in between it. But I
Yeah.
don't want the primo to be killing my estrogen. So if it is, I'll have to run a little bit more test because I'd rather not have to take a Arimidex or an Astrozole or
Oh, I agree.
anti-estrogens that are gonna, skew the lipids more. So I just got like the just the basics just to see what's going on. Um, you know, and then I have another lab work August 31st, which is kind of far out, but
Like full lab work.
yeah, like a full panel. Like they called me the other day and they're like, "Hey, look, you can get we owe you a an appointment. We can get you in this day and you
Oh
get
wow.
like labs, it's all free." I'm like, I'm gonna run it up, dude. I'm gonna get GH tested, IGF,
Yeah,
A1C, everything. I want to see like where everything really is at.
that's awesome.
C reactive protein. I know that's like another one with like your inflammation levels, which I want to get as full of a panel as possible. Getting like an EKG or that it's been a while since I've had that.
Heart
But
scan.
yeah, it would be good to like definitely see where that's at least like once a year. Hey,
Yeah,
do you ever dump blood?
I do. Actually, believe it or not, I haven't had to do it in like I can't really rationalize why, but I haven't had to do it in like 2 years. And I
I
got my
haven't done it.
hematocrit
Hmm.
when I first started. Like when I first started gear in 2016,
Yeah.
I was just taking like my first cycle. We'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about that at a future episode. But
Uh-huh.
it was just 300 tests, 200 deca, and I would have to donate like every 4 months because my hematocrit was just getting out of control.
Was
And
that
now
on
my
the DECA too though? And that your hematocrit?
I've used deca since then though, and my gear is significantly higher, and I haven't had to donate in 2 years. My hematocrit's always in good range.
Yeah, we're gonna have to touch on DECA versus NPP too, because I'm actually considering putting DECA in at a later point. Um, but I think, in my opinion, I think that DECA is a lot actually more tolerable than NPP. And I know
Mhm.
people will say that, well, NPP is like, you get in and out. It's like you're already going into it with the thought of having side effects. And I just
Yeah,
think it's too volatile. I think DECA is smoother, it's more manageable. Um, we'll touch on that, but Yeah, no, I used to dump blood after every show. I think part of it was because I looked up like, "Oh, well, dumping blood burns like 600 calories, so then you can eat the
Yeah,
cookies after
yeah, there you
the,
go.
that they give you after dumping the blood." And, um, I used to do it after every show, though. The first time I did it, uh, was when I had gone from 154 to, like, 190 within a few months.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
felt so fucking toxic, and I was also taking EQ, I was taking Primo, I was taking Winstrol, and I was taking Anavar and, like, 750 test, and it's just everything was high. EQ was at, like, 600, Primo was 400, test 750, Winstrol 40, Anavar 40 or something like that. I woke up one morning, like, I feel like, just, like
lethargic.
like, blood pressure was just through the
Oh
roof,
shit. Okay.
and then, like, I, like, laid on the floor because it was, like, cold on the floor, and I was like, "Holy shit," you know, uh, and we were getting up to go do a workout, like a high intent not like a high intensity, like, Dorian Yates, but like a HIIT, like, style workout, like
Yeah,
HIIT, and, like, I didn't make my back was so pumped, like, dude, I was so full of fucking water, um, a and I left there, like, about 10 minutes early before everyone else finished, kinda snuck out, and I went to go donate blood, and I did, and then I slept the best night of sleep I ever did that night,
I was going to
but,
ask you, was it like immediate right after you felt better?
yeah, yeah, and I mean, guys, look, like, like, I made these mistakes and stuff like that, like, I know, like, for, like, young guys or even old guys, like, man, just be conservative, man, like, um, I mean, I would definitely get telomethrin if you're gonna take gear. I would be proactive on your health, like, I won't say, like, you have to get every health supplement A through Z to, like, be healthy on gear, but, I would say telomethrin is one of them that you're really gonna wanna get if you're gonna take gear. I would also probably wouldn't push gear, like, anabolics as hard. I would look to getting a good base of anabolics. You don't need to be pushing like 2, 3 grams. Most people don't need to even be pushing a gram for what they're trying to do. Um, really, like I would look into GH and stuff like that, and possibly insulin, and broaden your horizon for that. But first and foremost, have your diet dialed in, have everything dialed in. Don't like go to the hospital. Don't fucking have to go donate blood because your blood pressure's through the roof. Like, you know, protect yourself. So yeah,
That's good advice.
yeah.
I feel
I
like
mean,
covering your main bases are like you said, before you even look at gear, is your
uh-huh.
diet 100%? Is your training 100%? Look
Mine
at those
wasn't
things,
mine wasn't, so it's like it's hard for me to say like that should be there because it's
Okay.
like because that's always gonna learn and evolve anyways if you want to get better. But get it as best as you can be. And like just if you're listening to this, like those are the realities of what can happen. You can end up in the hospital. Like you might be someone who holds a shit ton of water and you're looking at kidney failure at, whatever your age is, or
Yeah,
like blood pressure is like the silent killer. If your blood pressure's up, your kidneys are getting fucked. It's like taking a coffee filter, which is what your kidneys do. They filter things and putting a fire hose on it if your blood pressure's high. You don't want
that's
that.
great analogy.
And then if you're holding water, now you're putting more pressure on your heart. So your heart's having to work harder. You're going to enlarge the heart or, get left ventricular hypertrophy, which is going to grow the heart, which is going to make it have to, beat, irregularly. And, yeah, it's just a mess, man. So like, but you don't have like the thing is like gear when it's abused and food's abused and combination of these things are abused, like if you use it unhealthy, like you're gonna get unhealthy results. But if you use it like, I mean, what we're finding now is like you could pretty much stay on, like, you can pretty much stay on, like test, Primo, there's certain compounds like uh Masteron, if your blood work is in check, there's not really a reason to like necessarily come off.
Mhm.
Um
Might even do more damage in some instances to come off everything.
I mean,
You
yeah,
know?
I mean, maybe, right? Like going into a PCT, like you're crashing your hormones, man. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we should touch on that too in another episode, like actual PCT, because
yeah,
I've
that'd be
done
good.
one PCT in my life and never looked back.
Same.
Yeah, but Yeah, man. I think we covered some pretty good topics. We'll just recap real quick. Arm day, like, what's your what's your say on that?
I
If you
would
could
say
sum it up and
I would say if you're just starting, I would say I would not do it.
hmm
Um, if you get to the point where you want to start competing and your arms are a significant weakness, at that point I would throw an arm day in. Or if you're at the point where you're, winning your class at a local show, you want to take things like to the next level and your arms are lagging, I would throw in an arm day. And I mean,
hmm
even though I say that, like if you want to experiment like every now and then just having an arm day, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like one of your rest days, you could do like a light arm day if you just wanted to get some extra stimulus in. But in general, I feel like that's something you need to look at a little bit further down the line once you've been training for a while.
yeah. Yeah, and then just see what you can recover from, because if, like, you're gonna go train back or you're gonna train biceps, go deadlift the next day,
Yeah.
like, yeah, careful with your biceps, man. You don't wanna tear a bicep. Um, See what you can recover from. It's easy to wanna be in the gym 7 days a week, but it's a push-pull, man. It's a long game. So, uh, it's like I would say it's like a sprinkle on top, but I also think it can be a main day in your training. It's just knowing how to push that, knowing how to pull back and
Hmm.
work on what really needs to get worked on. So, um, okay, we'll jump to nationals prep. If you're gonna prep for nationals, what should be your mindset going into it? How long should you take? And
I would say if you're going to do a national show,
mhm,
if you think you're ready for do a national show, one thing I would do, as I said, like we mentioned earlier, I think you should win an overall
mhm,
before you do a national show. One thing I did is I would look at NPC News Online, all the shows across the country. I would always look at the overall winner, and
mhm,
I would say, how would I stack up against this guy?
yeah,
And if more times than not, I felt like I could beat that overall winner, then I feel like you should go to nationals. You should go to
mhm,
nationals expecting to make the first call out. I think at least if you're gonna use that amount of resources and spend that amount of money, you should
mhm,
be expecting to make the first call. I think if you're just winning your class or if you're finishing second or third in your class, I wouldn't even think about doing a national show. And I would
yeah,
set aside at least, I would set aside a full year to get ready for a national show, to be honest. I think like one full year off season and prep should be
mhm,
completely dedicated to bodybuilding if you want to do a national show.
mhm. Yeah, I like that idea of looking at NPC News Online. I would say go look at the class winners of the national shows.
Yeah.
Get 15, 10, 20. Pictures of got pictures to compare yourself to, and then go look at the overall winners for local shows. And there's new ones up there every week. National shows you might have to go back through. Um, you might even go back to the previous year, and that's actually not a bad idea. Is like throwing your latest stage picture up next to 15
Yeah.
other guys and just seeing, and you're as unbiased as you can. Like, uh, do you stack up? Are
Yeah.
you pro level? Do you have pro level body parts yet? That's the other thing going into nationals. Do you have are you a pro yet?
Yeah.
Because that's where you turn pro. Um, okay, next one. We'll recap this. Does it get easier overall? I would say so. I would say you learn how to manage things more. And that's what bodybuilding that really is at the end of the day. If you look at the grand scheme of things, it's about pushing and pulling um and learning. There's something I learn every single prep. You don't have to go to the hospital after your shows. Uh and you don't have to go hypo on a stairmaster. And
But if you do, you're familiar with it.
yeah, and if you do,
You know?
you go there, and that it is what it is, and you learn from experience, or you learn it from us on here or from whatever. But just learn everything you can, and you just refine it. This is just a refining process. So that's what I would say, you know.
I 100% agree. I also think your
Mhm.
body remembers getting in that type of
I
condition.
I agree with that.
You know?
Yeah. I think it knows what it's like to get down that low, and one thing I'll say is when you hit a new low on prep, you feel it for, like, 2 or 3 days, then you get used to it, you know?
Yeah,
Alright, and then last one, Anadrol. Uh
I like it for off season if
mhm,
it doesn't affect your appetite, and I would be interested to try it um, leading into a show, maybe instead of something like Halo testing, just to see what it does to
mhm.
your physique.
You know, for your national show, if you had added Anadrol in, yeah, I
That might have
think
been
that
interesting.
that might have been the time to do it, you know?
Yeah,
If
that's a
you're
good
if you're
point.
flat, like, I think if you're kinda flat and you're missing that, that might be the time to do it.
That's a really good point.
I've looked it up and I've tried to research it, and everybody says, like, there's so much mixed shit out there about it, but I've heard it, like, people do it, and, you know, it's interesting. I know it helps partition nutrients a bit. I don't know though, man. I I I don't know, and, my, recap about Anadrol is I will get back to everybody on that as we if we add that in to the off season, you know, where do I what do I get out of it? And do I think it has its application? So my current understanding is that it's going to, help just improve overall size and strength. And, it's kind of the name of the game in the off season is to get strong and to make some pushes, while the body's healthy. And if I can manage appetite and I'm not overly toxic, I think, and I'm not running into gyno or things like that, I think it'll be pretty successful. But I'll have more to report on that probably in the next 4 to 8 ish weeks. So I'll keep you guys posted there. Um, Next week, guys, we're on this one for a bit tonight, but let's see. We got next week, we're talking about mentality of a bodybuilder. Do some people overdo it? Having a stressful job in bodybuilding, pharma GH versus generic GH. And we may even get into DECA versus MPP. We may even get into PCT. Um, and I mean, a lot of this stuff we cover on each episode, but you know, we'll start getting into probably some more like specific, like one or two topics to where we could really nail things home, and then keep the episodes like within a reasonable amount of time to where someone could like listen to a 15-minute video or a 20-minute video and be in and out. But this stuff is like gather what you can. There's nuggets sprinkled all throughout here. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on the bell notification. 9:30 p.m. every Saturday Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna keep it rolling. As for me, I'm at grandma's house right now. Notice the office. So, and then this coming week, I'll actually be moving into my new place. I'm super excited about that.
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna get a even better setup there. And yeah, man, good talking, dude.
Loved it, man. I love these. Have so much fun.
Yeah. I didn't get to show everybody my pictures. I can real quick. I'll just shit on myself. So
You look
so
good at
last
both
thing
days, though,
here.
dude.
Yeah, so this was Clash where I won the overall, which I was very happy with this package. Um Give me one sec. I will share, remove this. Stop screen, present, share screen. Let's go here. So this was Clash where I won the overall. So
Dude,
yeah, I mean
you
back was
nailed it,
really
dude.
good. Yeah,
Condition's perfect.
yeah. I want to see how much like these rhomboids can come up and how much depth I can put into this back. I mean, I was at the posing seminar today, and these guys, gave me some tips on like what they're doing for back and stuff. So
Really good shoulders, too, man.
yeah, men's physique guys do. It seems like they do some unconventional stuff for back that like they're do. It sounded like they're doing quite a bit of volume,
Mm.
like three sets of underhand pull downs, 3 sets of wide grip pull downs, 3 sets of like
Close
neutral
grip
grip.
pull down.
Yeah, or
That's
like
interesting.
I don't do too much close grip pull downs, but like, um, yeah, I mean, I was pretty dry here, man. So there's that, and then let me pull up Puerto Rico. So this was 2 weeks prior to that show where I won the overall. This
And what was
lighting
the
is
weight difference between these two shows?
this was about 3 or 4 pounds. So, oh wait, did you get to see the screen? Oh,
Yeah.
because I closed it. That's
Yep.
why. Okay, so let's go here. Let me go here. So I think these might be nighttime photos too, dude. Um,
Was the clash, was that prejudging or was that
man,
night show?
I don't I'm not exactly sure on that, to be honest. I believe prejudging.
Okay.
Or no, you know what? It might have been night show. Um, here we go. Well, let me share this screen here. That way you get a little closer look. Share screen. Yeah. That way we could actually see the photos. So I think this was night show, dude, because I'm starting to get fucking just a little bit spilled over at this point. And like knowing that I was like not in the real
It's
first
a
call
mind
out.
fuck, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can see like my shoulder veins coming out pretty good. So it's pretty full. It's very full.
Your
Um,
legs look good.
yeah, I feel like the legs just didn't have time to fill back out really, like, because I looked at like photos like a week or two before and
Hmm.
or like 2 or 3 weeks before, and it's like I just kind of noticed that they just started, not that they got eaten up, that muscle got eaten up, but they just took the beating, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was shredded through my legs and stuff like that, but
Yeah. Look at
like
the glutes feathered, dude.
this had to have been the night show because I could just tell my stomach is a lot fuller. I literally, and this was like back to back. I had like an hour to digest my food, and I had like 3 sushi rolls, and yeah, it was just I don't know, man. It was a good experience being in Puerto Rico and competing somewhere else, but that's it, man. Like you just learn show to show, and I fucked up this peak kind of because prior to this show I was having like 6 grams of sodium a day, you know, to where we backed it to 2 grams of sodium. And I also took more diuretic for this show. So I'm not like, I haven't even posted these photos anywhere just because I'm not super happy with the look. But, you know, um, as you'll know, you know, with bodybuilding, even pros miss sometimes, man. Sometimes you come in off. And
Best guys in the world miss.
yeah, so you got to just learn from it, take the notes, show back up to the next one even better, man. And that's exactly what I did. And we got 47 weeks to show up even fucking better. So,
That's exciting.
Jimmy, how many weeks out do you have? That'll be like 2020.
Not sure.
You have about
It's
20
based on what
weeks,
show
dude.
we're gonna do. If
If you
we do
do
the holiday
holiday, it's about
classic,
20.
yeah. I really
Or,
kind of been interested in that Fuad show. I really think that's going to be a big
when is
show.
that? When is that?
Uh, it's like beginning of April.
Oh, maybe just shut it down until then, bro.
Yeah, so it'll be like,
Because then you can kind of have like you can kind of have your pick on which national show you really want to go do
yeah. I mean, if
if
I
you
do
do
that, then I
well.
can look at maybe USA's or towards the end of the year,
Hmm.
national. So it might be a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, then that would give you the time to, you know, early April. That'd be like doing the Arnold and then like going ready, you know, prepping for the Olympia.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Yeah,
it's kind of that timeline. Well, we'll hear about more of that, you know, in future episodes. And as for right now, 47 weeks out for me. Jimmy is to be determined, possibly holiday classic, but the Fuad shows, fuck, dude, it's April.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, man, we'll stay posted on that.
Good
All
stuff.
right, dog. I got my last meal to go eat. Are you all done for the day?
Now I've got 2 more meals.
Oh shit, is it a high day for you?
Yeah.
All right, good shit, bro. All right, dog. I'll catch up with you.
All right, brother. Good to see you.
You too, bro. Thanks for tuning in, guys.